Flash is coming up at the top of the staircase. There's an easy kill for Hyper in a second and a third. Dark Zero in full control. A triple for Quick Surf, and there's the quad. United.
Great teamwork. Sonics take the lead again.
Disrupt the best of the best.
His teammate's gone, and what's this? He's got a Nitro Cell as well! TSM!
Tempo Storm absolutely storms through this matchup. Oxygen takes the series.
Space Nation Gaming are your world champions!
Welcome to day 9 of stage 2 of the Rainbow Six Siege US Division. OXG or Dark Zero, who will be number 1 in the US Division for stage 2 of the regular season? We're going to get that answer today. I'm Jackie Jing, I'm with Veli and Jesse. Whew, I'm feeling the pressure just saying that, y'all. We're going to know who's the best in the US after this matchup here. So you both are all smiles, and tell me, what do you think in this Monday?
All right.
Veli, I'll start with you.
You start with me, okay. I'm thinking that's not the biggest game today. The biggest game today, in my opinion, is going to be the second one. That's going to be who we know. We're going to go to the qualifiers to go to the NA Major. But also that, for those of you in the chat, if you missed out on my latest tweet, take a look at it at VeliCast. I actually put out there that I'm giving away a TSM skin or a bundle of your choice from the Pro League set. If you tweet out the stream, tell people why they should come in. It could be funny, it could be serious, however way you want to word it. And make sure you use a hashtag. I'm going to be giving that away. I'm going to announce the winner on stream as well. I'm just feeling generous today, Jackie.
Yeah, and Jesse, really excited about that giveaway. I can just see he's like overwhelmed with excitement.
Jesse, I got
but
you with
also...
a skin if you want one. I got you, Jesse.
I hope I win.
Hook me up too, man. But Jesse, you're obviously really excited about the matchups today too.
Yeah, a lot on the line for that second game. Disrupt game versus Sonics is going to be an important one for who makes the qualifier. And then, the best of the best playing in our first matchup here to get first place in the regular season for stage 2. This is going to be a really great day.
Well, we definitely want to get these matches rolling, but really quickly, a quick word from our sponsor, so please take a listen. And welcome back. Let's look at the Group A bracket, ladies and gentlemen. So, Oxygen defeated SSG in the beginning, then DZ beat TSM. TSM beat SSG last week, so SSG is 4th in the US Division for Stage 2, and they will be going to the NA qualifier. TSM, DZ, and OXG, they round out the top 3, and now we will watch DZ versus OXG. This match will determine who is the best in the US for stage 2 in the regular season. So obviously we're really amped about this. And let's start talking about these teams, gentlemen.
Let's go.
You ready? Let's go?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So obviously we're going to begin with our Group A matchup, and we will start with OXG. So OXG had a shaky start, but they got back in a groove after a loss to Tempo at the start of the season. They beat SSG last week, and during stage 1, OXG was also in the winner's bracket, but they eventually finished 3rd behind TSM and SSG. So Veli, is stage 2 going to be different? Is OXG going to come out number 1 out of all of this?
Jackie, you don't even have to ask. Stage 2, this team is already so much more better than they were in stage 1. And let me just throw out some stats. They had a 41.6 attack win rate and a 60% defensive win rate in stage 1. Stage 2, attack rose from 41 to 48, defense 60 to 67. And there's one player that's a big reason about this. And I spoke to Hopes about him. It's going to be Slashug, okay? Slashug has significantly proven in every category. Survivability, kills per round, cost, rating, you name it. He's an entirely different player. So I spoke to Hopes earlier today, not too long ago, and I said, Hopes, why is Slash so much better this time around? We was having a little discussion, and he said, I'm going to be honest, stage 1, he was a little timid. So we all remember, those dominant bathroom holds on Villa and just those little sparks of just brilliance from Slashug, but he wasn't really consistent. But this stage, Hopes is saying he's way more comfortable in this role. He's just way more ready to go out there and be a playmaker this time around. The only problem they have with him is that they try to slow him down and not let him get too kill hungry so far. So as long as Slashug and the rest of these players continue to improve, overall, this team is just way better this time around. I think they could take it.
Yeah, Slash is definitely a big contributor in
Yeah.
stage 2, but man, we gotta talk about some of the other players on this squad. Laxine and Vertical undoubtedly have been performing exceptionally well in stage 2. Laxine is second behind Bolo for overall rating and KD. Vertical is 5th for cost, and both are in the top 5 for clutches. I mean, these are pretty impressive stats, but Jesse, despite these great stats, they're struggling on opening picks.
Yeah, for the last 3 months, they do have the worst rate of winning that opening engagement of the entire league. 45% is not where they want to be. A large part of that has been Bio these last couple of games so far in Stage 2. He has been dying to some of these roamers. Every now and again, he's having a little bit of trouble with that. And he's the IGL, right? He's the main driving force behind these pushes. So when he goes down early like that, it can be very difficult for him to keep control over these attacks, to lead the team in the way they need him to do so. And it can often lead to them falling apart and not winning those rounds. I'd like to see somebody else come up and sort of help him out with that roam clear. Vertical could get involved in a little bit more of these opening gunfights. He's already doing well in the ones he is involved in, but if he could take over more of those from Bio, it'd be a big help, I'd say, to Oxygen Esports. Overall, though, I mean, this is a team that has improved significantly, I'd say, since the majors in Stage 1. They're looking really good, so I'm excited to see them against Dark Zero.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be a difficult opponent for Dark Zero, and let's talk about them. Dark Zero beat TSM in 2 last week, looked very strong. However, Skies was actually recently on a stream, and he said that they don't see themselves as top dogs or champs, and that they feel like they're not really playing to their true potential / level seen at the mini major. Yeah, no, when I heard that, I was like, what? But, Veli and DZ Fashion, they're staying humble, they're doing their homework. I really want to pick your brain about how you think they're going to try to dismantle OXG today.
Jackie, I think they're going to be okay. You know what Sky said? That's called accountability. In order to be one of the top in your field as a professional gamer, you got to admit when you're not doing well. And a lot of teams, they don't like saying that. But I think they're going to overcome their troubles because of one guy, and he's leading by example. And as a leader, you want him to be that guy. It's going to be Mint. Mint has been fantastic. Actually, last time they played against TSM, I believe it was last time they were on stream, Mint went positive 11. We're not used to seeing that type of Mint day in and day out. We expect that from Eclipse, we expect that from Hyper. But the fact that Mint, we've seen him on Ash, we've seen him on Ying, Ayana, anybody out there, he changes up operators so much. He keeps the defensive guessing, he keeps the defenses guessing. And as long as Dark Zero, they have that big strap bug behind them, I think Mint and the rest of the boys, they're going to be all right.
Yeah, I think a lot of eyes are going to be on Mint. He's an exceptional IGL, and I mean, this is just a great team, like you were saying too, Veli. They have 2 players that are on the leaderboards. Hyper, obviously. He is top 5 for overall rating and KD, and then Han Cold is top 5 for plants, actually. So both of them have had a huge impact on this team, but Jesse, I think that the strength and power of DZ really lies in their synchronicity and their exceptional chemistry. Like, they work so well as a team, as a unit.
For sure. I think that's what most people would tell you, and I'd agree with it. Overall, like, these last couple of games, I think they've struggled a little bit keeping that information flowing on attack. One thing that they do is they've got this great YouTube series, Into Darkness, where they often allow their comms to go through and they showcase sort of what the comms are like in these chaotic final seconds of the rounds, and particularly in their last matchup against TSM, it seemed like it was all coming together. Things were really improving on that front. We got to see a couple of different rounds where Dark Zero were in these clutch situations, but the information was so clear, it was flowing perfectly, and because of that, the players that were in those clutch situations had a huge advantage and were able to win them out a lot of the times. That's really what seemed to win it for TSM in my mind. I'm glad that that's being worked on. I'm glad that we're seeing improvement on that. I anticipate that's going to continue on into this match against Oxygen Esports, because similar to TSM, this one could end up being a little bit more scrappy than some of the other games Dark Zero have played. So yeah, I think Dark Zero, their communication is going to be really key to winning this matchup.
Well said.
I know. I'm really excited about this, gentleman, and I believe that we're ready to get into the map selection process here. Our teams are getting ready, and let's see if we can bring up that information for y'all, and we can get some analysis on the map vetoes. So again, we are working to bring up that information.
I'm excited. I don't know what to tell you, Jackie. I'm
Okay,
gonna be
so
honest.
there it is, gentlemen, popping
sorry.
up right
Okay.
now. No, you're good.
So some bands out here. Theme Park Coastline constantly could be the first one by Dark Zero. This is usually a close map for them. Their last play was against TSM. They did win it 7-4. Auction Esports slammed Tempo Storm on console the last time that they were here. The first time and only time in Stage 2. And it was the only map they ended up winning at the major, so it's been a good one. Auction ended up going to Cafe. This has also been a good map for Auction Esports. They played it in every single series of Stage 2, except for one, the second time they played against Tempo Storm. Dark Zero have only lost this map to one team since the Invitational, and that's been Space Station Gaming. So Auction Esports hoping to join that very exclusive club. And then we've got Clubhouse coming up next. Dark Zero were undefeated on this map over the summer, 4-0, but they've looked pretty shaky since the start of Stage 2. A 7-1 loss to United, and then an 8-7 win over TSM have been their only two results. And Auction don't go here too much, but when they do go here, they typically win it. Their loss to TSM over the summer was the only loss they've had on this map since USN 2019. I think overall, there are a couple of maps that I was worried about for Auction in this pool, those being Coastline and Oregon. Those not going through, I think, is a big positive for OXG.
Okay, and gentlemen, we're ready to get things rolling here, so let's start talking predictions. And I really want you guys to dive deep, like really sell me on who you think is going to win here today, because this is a big matchup, right? This determines who is going to be number one in the U.S. division. So, y'all, I want to hear a good report here. In-depth analysis. Veli, I'll put you in the hot
I'm
seat
not gonna go
first.
too in depth because I want the game to start, right? But I'm gonna leave it simple. I'm gonna leave the in-depth stuff to Jesse because he's the best at that. I'm an emotional analyst, and because of that, I'm gonna go with Oxygen Esports. You're looking at the tale of two teams. You know, Dark Zero, they came off that hot performance, that dominant performance at the NA Major, right? But then we've seen a little troubles here and there. But I think they're gonna be fine, right? Oxygen on the other end, they have gotten so much better. You can't say that enough about them. And you know, compared to other teams, they don't significantly get better like that on attack and defense at the same time. So I'm going with Slash Hug and the boys. Oxygen Esports 2-1.
Yeah, Slash Hug and the boys, okay. Jesse, I guess tell me what you were thinking here. You gonna agree with Veli or
All right.
going on the DZ train?
What you
here?
gotta say,
Dark-
Jesse?
Dark Zero is going to be expected pick, but I think Veli might have stumbled his way into an actually really intelligent pickup. The map pool does lean towards Auction Esports, and again, as I mentioned, there were two maps that I was really worried would get through, and that Oxygen might have to stumble on, those being Coastline and Oregon. Coastline banned out first from Auction, they don't like to play that map, fair enough, and then Oregon, not chosen by Dark Zero, left it till a little bit later and then banned it. So I actually like the way that these maps look for Oxygen. People often talk about how they think maybe Dark Zero is a league above a lot of other teams, Dark Zero and TSM together. But I think Auction's right there with them, and they've had their stumbles in the past, but they've looked really good in recent times. So I'm going to go ahead and pick Auction Esports as well to win this matchup. It'll be a close one, obviously. Dark Zero, they want that number one spot, but I'll agree with Veli this time around. OXG.
You know what? This is the first time Jesse has complimented me on stream. It was kind of backhanded. But you know what, Jesse? I love you. I'll take it.
Okay,
Love you too,
so
Veli.
both of you guys are going with Oxygen. I do want to pick your brains a little bit about why you aren't leaning with Dark Zero then. Why do you think that they're going to be falling a little bit short, Veli, in your opinion?
Okay, so Jackie and Jesse, let's be completely honest with ourselves. I mean, this match could end up any way, right? But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I mean, these teams can beat each other. I think Oxygen Esports, at the moment, they just have the hottest hand. And the reason why it might be that way to me is because this is a newer team, and they really haven't been full-fledged before, especially in Stage 1. I don't think we saw the best of them. We've always seen glimpses, and then inconsistency will follow right behind, right? As this team goes on to progress, they're going to fix those issues, so we're going to see a stronger iteration of this roster every
Right.
single play day. That's why I'm rocking with him. And plus, Fox say he's been fired up ever since that one interview, and he has not disappointed us since.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like you can sense this confidence with them that we haven't seen in the past, and they're definitely coming together completely as a team.
Yes.
Jesse, okay, so talk to me then about why you decided to go with OXG, why you think Dark Zero's falling a little bit short in your eyes.
You picked the Jinx's pick, Jesse.
Yeah, I did, but listen, I mean, Dark Zero, there was a quote, again, in one of their YouTube videos to call back to that, because I was binging it all morning, and it said a lot of the top teams, basically every single one of the top teams, biggest struggles with inconsistency. The first team that really breaks that and manages to get consistent for an extended period of time is going to be the best team in the world. And Auction, I'd say, recently have just looked a little bit better in that category for my money. I think Oxygen are a little bit less of a well-rounded team in that oftentimes you do have maps that get carried by one player or another. Dark Zero, we haven't really seen that since all the way back in Stage 1 when that was, the role of Hyper on the team. So that's certainly a point in favor of a Dark Zero, but I think Oxygen are a slept-on team. I really do. And also, every time I don't pick Oxygen and they lose, Laxing or Fox comes after me, and they really just, they rub it in my face. So I'm trying to avoid that. I don't think the guys at Dark Zero would do that to me.
To be fair, Jackie, Jesse has the biggest point. It's the fact that we didn't know what Oxygen we would get each play day. It could be 3 players or, maybe all 5 that are shooting straight that day. With Dark Zero, it's kind of like we expect everyone to pitch in to help to get that win. So, I mean, it's really how Oxygen's feeling today for me.
All right, well, let's see which OXG shows up, and let's see how Dark Zero performs. We're about to roll into this matchup, but really quickly, Veli, why don't you talk to us about this giveaway?
Okay.
You said you're feeling generous today, so
Yes.
we want to get people excited about it.
I woke up today, I was feeling great, I was feeling good, and you know what? I love the audience, I love the chat. Shout out to everybody out there. So I sent out a tweet not too long ago. Take a look at my profile. Oh, there it goes right there.
Yay.
Basically, if you want to win the TSM bundle skin or a bundle of your choice, make sure you tweet out any type of way you want to. It could be funny or it could be serious. Why your followers need to tune into this stream. I'm going to look through the list today. Make sure you use that hashtag or you will not be involved in the contest. I will message you, I will get your Uplay account, and you will get the bundle of your choice. So don't slack, make it good, and I can't wait.
Have you already gotten some good responses yet?
Oh my, Jackie, I've gotten so much. So if you haven't done it, you need to do it now. Like there's at least like 200 right now. It's crazy.
Yes! Okay,
Maybe
so
more.
glad to hear it. So all of you, make sure you get over there and do that right away. But also, we would encourage you all to please follow us on our different social media accounts. That's below all of us right now. We got a Twitter account, we got an Instagram account, and we are always posting some awesome content on there. So make sure you go and check that out. We would also like to encourage you to please participate in our community poll. We have a really good question for y'all today. I ain't gonna tell you what it is, so you gotta go all over to our social media accounts and check it out and participate. But okay, we're finally ready. Dark Zero versus
Let's
OXG. We're going to go to our casters in a little bit. Kix and Tiro, I know you're all excited to see them, but really quickly, we have a short break, so we'll be right back in a flash. Don't go anywhere.
I think everyone's happier here than they were in Houston because Houston kind of felt like it's like a whole work area the whole time, pretty much, even when you left your room. But Vegas, it's kind of like sectioned off where there's like a work area in our rooms and like a relaxing area. So I think everybody's just happier.
In Stage 2, we've pretty much every play we make, we're always on the same page, and it just feels like we're always clicking compared to Stage 1. What's a disconnect?
I think the biggest change is strategy. We used to kind of try to force old Dark Zero strategy rather than play our game with the players that we have, and I think that's probably the biggest change. Role changes, putting Tyler on flank watch and Kyle more of a flex, so he can play like the Montaigne, Ash, that type of stuff. So
My skill would be able to soak in a bunch of chatter mid-round. It's hard when you're trying to clear a bunch of utility and shoot people at the same time and listen to your teammates to soak in what everyone's saying. There's a bunch of side conversations.
probably patience, because I see a lot of opportunities, and sometimes you need just like that extra 3 seconds. If I could work on patience, we'd probably win a little bit more rounds. Always try to get better at something, because you can always get better at something.
We've came really close a lot of times, and to finally achieve what we wanted is really refreshing.
We can all hang out and have fun and have a good time.
Well, Michael, it's an exciting one. Once again, we're going to see who emerges #1 in North America. Is it going to be DZ, major champs? Is it going to be OXG? OXG didn't have the best opportunities when they were in similar position just a couple months ago, if you'll recall. So a big day for matches today, and we're going to be starting off on Consulate.
Yeah, I think overall this series is definitely going to be pretty exciting. There's a lot to be said about both teams. You could honestly swing either way with the prediction on this one. And it's a fleeting #1 in North America kind of win. You will be #1 for Stage 2, but that only lasts so long. And with the competition we've had in the US division as of late, this match, I think, really does tell a story for whoever takes the crown.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot on the line here. Both of these teams have had some really good performers, and that ties in perfectly to our question of the day, or at least question of the match, because there will presumably be a question for our next match, Michael.
Yeah.
It's not just all about us in this match in particular, but who will have a stronger performance today? Will it be Hyper or it will be Laxing? Hyper's put up great numbers, but Laxing has been phenomenal in stage number 2, so you have to take your pick, and of course, it was plugged by Jackie and the analysts. Go to R6 Esports NA. That's the Twitter account that you can vote on. Is it going to be Hyper or Laxing? That's the question.
Yeah, so far through this stage, Laxing has been slightly better than Hyper, but only just. Laxing currently sits number 2 in NA statistically, and Hyper number 4. Laxing behind Bolo, and Hyper behind Achieved. So a little bit of information to aid you in voting accurately. But yeah, just a simple head-to-head vote, and looks like we've got everything all sorted out and ready to go. We'll be going ahead and loading into Consulate as our map number 1. Dark Zero will be starting on defense. Oxygen will be starting on attack. And we'll jump right into the ban phase.
Now, this might not be an interactive match, but those watching on the twitch.television at the moment, please join in and wish everybody good luck, have fun. That would be appreciated. It's been a very long time since these teams played each other, so it's going to be fun to see stylistically how they match up in this map. And we're obviously treated to 3 different maps. Consulate, Clubhouse, and Cafe are the 3 on the docket. Clubhouse is the decider. It might not be needed, but Consulate and Cafe are a certainty, and they both tend to play out a little bit differently. Consulate's a very linear map. You've seen teams eschew that top floor bomb site now. They like to play the downstairs. They like to play the Tellers and Archives bomb sites, and they usually always defend that top floor. It is pivotal for the defense. Whereas Cafe, same thing, actually. In Cafe, they've eschewed that top floor bomb site. They leave it just a bit of room between the enemies and them, whether they're defending on the second floor or that first floor. Operator bans are Hibana, Nomad, Mute, and Valkyrie. Worth noting that both Ace and Melusi are now in play. They are out of competitive quarantine, or whatever we've officially dubbed it as. They can be used. Additionally, Echo is still removed from play, so he doesn't need to be banned, and he won't be used by either team.
So I'd like to point this out because I feel like it has some value. Dark Zero has a tendency as a team to ban operators on the other team that are statistically relevant on the map they're playing on. So Oxygen, for example, if we narrow our scope to just Consulate, Hibana, well, Nomad too, but Hibana as an operator sees a lot of play and actually contributes more to Oxygen's success on attack than any other attacking operator except for Jackal, and he's only been played 1 round, so that's statistically irrelevant. So Dark Zero going out of their way on their attacker ban to specifically target the tools that Oxygen use to win more often than not on this map. We see bans based on stats plenty. It's not an unusual thing, but it is definitely something that Dark Zero have consistently been doing over the last few stages or so. Now, as we get into the actual round, there's something else interesting going on. We're seeing a very heavy setup on this top floor.
Not really that surprising. I mean, this top floor is going to be an important site to fight over, and OXG will miss out on DZ's spawn peak. Foxay in particular would have been the one who would have crossed paths with the Jaeger, Ash Jaeger. That seems to be a battle to the death. And Foxay is by the main lobby doorway, and don't be deceived, those of you that are relatively new to competitive Rainbow Six, even though Foxay is but a few steps from that B bomb site. The way that DZ have fortified their defense is going to slow them down. You can see the hatch opened up. Eclipse has shot out much of the floor inside of meeting, or projector as it's referred to as there happens to be a projector in there, though the official term is meeting. What this means is that you as an attacker can't just push on in because you're going to be confronted with a defender watching you. In this case, the entry from OXG is going to be over by admin. And the first man that's going to need to anchor down this part of the map is Eclipse. He gets droned out. The smoke is going to be playing behind that table, and I have no doubt that OXG determined his location, and they're going to begin to pressure him. 3 bodies it looked to be in this position. We got the Sledge hanging on upside down rappel. Slash just swings right in. There he is, the man of the hour, discussed in the preamble. He's going to get the very first pick of the matchup and the very first pick of the round.
Clips had a struggle in his last match versus TSM, so he's not going to be able to correct that here and now. But there's still time left in the map. In this round, Dark Zero is still holding on to this top floor. They have lost projector control, but look at the time being burned right now. This is solid for Dark Zero. They're not stressing too much. Pressure going on into the main lobby, though. And it looks like an attempted plant, but Hot and Cold from Spiral Stairs will shut down Slash as he attempts to go for that plant. He will get a second as well as he peeks around the statue. That's big for Hot and Cold. Looking for a third, but he finally is addressed by Laxing from Visa, who takes a second fight and wins that one as well. Hyper going down. And Oxygen with a one-man advantage make it a two-man advantage, just leaving Skies in a 1 versus 3. He's got 2 lit opponents, but it's not going to matter as Laxing, right time, right place throughout the round, and Oxygen will take the first.
Laxing versus his old team. How's that for a funny end to the very first round? Of course, when OXG was known as Reciprocity, Laxing and Skies were long-term teammates. And it was Skies that left the team to join Dark Zero. Now, obviously, there's been some changes since then to the roster. Not everybody on it was on at the same time, but just a bit of humor and history for those of you that are watching. I liked how bold Oxygen was to just crash into the main bomb site, hit the deck when it comes to lobby, and force DZ to scramble to try to fix that. Now, the moment that Eclipse was removed from the floor directly above the lobby, DZ had to try to guard a push from a couple different ways. One, you can have where Skies was, somebody playing inside of the antechamber. That's the hallway that leads from the bomb site's piano over to lobby. It's also where the bathroom happens to be. Hot and Cold patrolling on Spiral Stairs is a very common place for somebody to play as well. You can watch the long desk above. You can cover over towards Visa if somebody chooses to push through that area, or inside a main lobby. And Hot and Cold very narrowly wins the round for his team because losing 2 players to that position on Spiral can be very damning, especially if you have to go back and fetch that diffuser. But for Oxygen, they had one member that was close enough to the Spiral Stairs. That was Laxing, who his tussle with Hyper probably could have broken Hyper's way. But Laxing manages to play around that pillar and stay alive and then punish the Maestro for it. That was a bit of good fortune on Laxing's side and a bit of an error from Hyper's. Regardless, once that happened, the remaining members of DZ were buried over on the side of the map that wasn't particularly relevant. It's the west side over by Piano, and they had to fight their way back with OXG having a numbers advantage and this map being so linear. You're going to essentially have to be fighting your way out alive, and that's a hard thing to do. And when you look at how close these teams are here in North America, it's no given that one team is going to be superior than the other when it comes to gunfights.
Bottom floor defense this time. One panel left unreinforced. Likely deliberate. I mean, we don't see either of these teams make mistakes like that really at all. So Dark Zero just leaving an opening on the wall, maybe to apply pressure to an attempted hard breach. We'll see how it pans out moving forward. With the Mira in play, it's difficult to actually make a push by the garage, though not impossible. This is not like her best site, but she can be useful here. She will take out Slash early on, so great job there to Hotten. Getting that long-range fight. Surprised he's not using the 1.5. And I guess he just doesn't feel like it's necessary here. And he did get the job done. One of the hard breachers done away with, the hard breacher done away with. And now Oxygen will struggle to open up drops or otherwise moving forward.
This is going to be where the real challenge comes in, because you're likely going to have to fight for Yellow Stairs control and have somebody go over towards Spiral. Excellent patience now from Eclipse, as he's going to be on the hunt, and he gets a very easy kill on a Vertical who doesn't see nor know of the position of the Vigil. Hot and Cold finds yet another, this time with the C4. Doesn't use the gun. Sight misalignment, sight issue, whatever you want to call it. Eclipse has made his way in the bathroom, and Bio's got that position held down. Firing away at the wall. He knows there's a rotate, but nobody's going to give him an inch right now. Laxing is not too far off on Spiral Stairs, and Eclipse is just pivoting around. There you go, another kill for Eclipse. 2 for Hot and 2 for Eclipse on the round. Laxing is the last one up, and who is going to be lucky enough from DZ to find him now? Laxing in a 1v5 is still a terrifying prospect for teams. He's won them a couple times this season, especially a clutch on Cafe that we saw just a couple weeks ago. But he's going up against a pretty tough bout of competition, and he gets spotted inside of the main lobby. Doesn't know if anybody's upstairs. The diffuser is miles away, and DZ is going to do what DZ does best. Be patient. They'll sit down on the bomb site, and this is just a formality because the round is completely out of their control. Axiom will fire away, and it's Hyper, actually, to take care of it. Neither Eclipse nor Hot and Cold, who both picked up 2 kills, are included in that fracas. A flawless round will give DZ their very first round.
Well done there to Dark Zero. Their roam was especially lethal, as I'm sure all of you noticed. Eclipse not only managing to get that lead-off kill, but persisting on the top floor. That thorn in the side of Oxygen's roam clear really did end up causing the bleed out of the attack. And overall, as you said, a flawless round. You really cannot question rounds like that. I like what we're seeing so far from both of these teams. I think it's telling of a really close match, which is what everyone would expect going into, you know, the decider match for first and second in North America, or rather in the US division. So with that done, Dark Zero know that they've got the capacity to roam really well upstairs. The big difference maker in that round, I think, was when they shifted Eclipse out of Projector, where he was trapped, and allowed him to roam more freely on that top floor. That obviously worked out really well for DZ. They're going to switch him onto the Mozzie, and he'll be able to have more of a solo presence as Mozzie is able to deny information. That 1.5, he is exceptionally lethal on the Roni. And just in general, he'll probably be a force to be reckoned with on the top floor, as he was last round with that Vigil. Also setting up plenty of rotates on the top floor to try and extend the presence of anyone who plays up here on the defense. Those windows are probably just opened up for either A, delay, distraction, or B, Eclipse is going to go for a C4 play on one of the repellers.
One thing with the one thing with defending on Consulate is that you can invest in admin. It happens. We've seen DZ do it before, especially with Eclipse, or well, mostly Eclipse playing in the corner. I think he's done it as Womai. I think he's done it as Mozzie, and now here he goes again. You can also stick a Jaeger in that corner with a couple ADSs and waste a lot of time. If memory serves me correctly, we actually saw DZ stick 3 people inside of admin one time when we were casting, and obviously not all 3 stayed there the entire time, but they had good coverage because you can play off of those windows as an attacker and force out the defenders, especially if you take it from down below, because the entire floor beneath you is going to be opened up. So it looks like Eclipse is going to be set up just to play over there solo, as DZ of number of people all over the map.
Ooh, this is going to be use of Smoke and Selma. The first one was shot, but you can see the last Selma actually being used, covered by the smokes now. The bathroom wall will be opened up, and Foxay gets the lead-off kill onto Skies. He's going to actually use that to repel into Piano and start a plant. Oxygen extremely swift on this objective play, and there's no one from DZ to stop it. Post-plant scenario now, at least DZ is fragging out. They will get the man advantage, but will it matter? The question is going to loom over their heads as this round continues to play out. Hot and Cold gets slashed. Now it's all on Foxay and Biologic. Looks like Foxay playing outside, ready to go up into CEO and play the diffuser from above. He'll do just that. As he gets control above, he needs to open up a hole. So, step number 2. Step number 3 is staying alive on this angle. He sees his opponent, but dies to a C4. Eclipse, amazing play, and down goes Biologic. DZ retake their own bomb site and manage to disable that diffuser.
Impressive stuff from DZ. Maybe a bit too much haste from Oxygen. They saw an opportunity to get into Projector, or to Piano rather, with nobody watching, so they take it. Foxay gets the pick, and then Amaru's right in. Amaru's up top as well, showing that even though we are in a utility soak meta where the name of the game happens to be explosives, that you can still get a lot of value out of an operator like Amaru for some of those cheeky plays. Now, the problem was that Foxay upstairs inside of console office trying to fend off the defenders that are going to be disabling that diffuser. Hard to do when you're in a 2v4. You have to watch the stairs, you have to watch connector, you have to watch long desk, because it's very easy for them to send 2 people upstairs to punish you, while one goes for the diffuser and the other hunts down Biologic. Just what it appeared that DZ did. They sent one person upstairs, but then they had another with the nitro cell on hand down below as Mint was going for the diffuse, and Bio had no choice but to swing into action from yellow stairs, and unfortunately for him, the easiest route to get from console office to yellow stairs happens to be Yellow Stairs, which is where we saw the final member, which I believe was Hyper, who finished off Biologic. Just bad timing for Oxygen. They also had the coverage that I think was good, but you had a 1 HP vertical as your only person watching that main lobby, and he lost the fight to Eclipse. And I mean, one bullet is going to fell you at that point. Vertical's good, but you're playing a numbers game at that point, and you come out on the losing end of it. So I liked what we saw at OXG, and I definitely think that that's a viable strategy for the future. Teams will certainly wise up to it. We saw Space Station actually try very similar strategies where they just get into Piano and immediately try to plant. It works, but DZ's retakes have always been strong, and that round was no exception.
That was a nice C4 there from Eclipse. It went out to just beneath the CEO windows, but there was nobody actually standing there on Oxygen's side. So, damage done to Slash, but no kill. Roam continues upstairs, but as you can see, the different clear from Oxygen is going to force the roamers over to the east side of the building. The clear this round for the attack is starting west, moving east. It's the opposite of every other round, where normally it's the admin office you begin with. The mirror windows facing into admin as such are going to be basically useless for these defenders who are trying to delay on this top floor. At some point, you'll probably see them shoot their own mirror window to try and gain an extra angle on the attack coming from the west side. Right now, no action. Oxygen are trying to clear out not only the top floor on the west side, but also the middle and the bottom floor. They need to do this so they don't get flanked at any time throughout this round. Second mirror window placed in security. Now, this is dangerous for the attack to address, but they're going to do their best. And, ooh, that's big. Slash gets an opportunity onto Hot and Cold. And down goes Pulse, your best information gatherer on this site.
Slash had a great game the other week, the one that was required of them to beat Space Station to be the first team to qualify for the major, and another huge game from him would be extremely helpful. And so far, he's only got 2 kills, but they've both been pretty high impact. So, I mean, what more can you ask? Obviously, he hasn't been the statistical standout on the team, but we're only 3 rounds in, and DZ have been sharper, and the stats reflect that. So, you pick off the Pulse. That's a huge operator. That's a C4. That's your intel. You're going to need to scramble to try to take care of that. It leaves you with a single C4. That's not the place that you want to be in when you are defending a bomb site, where the strategy for most teams is simply to blow up your opponents from below. Slash, a bit of a missed opportunity. Doesn't see Skies playing inside of storage. An easy pick for the Vigil. Vertical refrags. There goes a grenade, shrugged off by Mint as he drops Biologic. Goes for the re-engage, but he can't get past Vertical. So Vertical picks up 2 kills and will need to now assume control over that diffuser. OXG have a numbers advantage. That's now gone at the hands of Hyper. Playing down at the bottom of these stairs. He'll engage yet again. He's down. Laxi and Eclipse will finish him off. Diffuser being planted by Vertical down below inside of the server area of Archives. Vertical now pop up. He's got great aim, but he looks the wrong way, gets smoked by Eclipse. The diffuser is theirs, and yet again, another good retake from Dark Zero. They'll go up 3-1 once they finish disabling this diffuser.
All right, so let's take a little bit of a dive into the mentality of Oxygen and what appears to be their game plan throughout this match so far. We've seen only 4 rounds of this attack half for Oxygen on Consulate, but one thing has become abundantly clear. Oxygen is putting almost overemphasis on the objective play. It seems like the diffuser getting down is all that they can think about, and it's actually causing more problems, more harm than good right now for Oxygen's attack, because Dark Zero is very wisely not putting up a hard wall preventing that objective play, but rather, you know, death by 1,000 cuts as Oxygen attempts to get the diffuser down. And it's really showing in the gameplay, not just in that round, but pretty much throughout this entire half. Oxygen try to get control of the site. They get the diffuser down. They're losing manpower all the while. DZ on the retake, absolutely lethal. They win all their retake fights, and then it's a disable. I like what I'm seeing from Oxygen. I think it's fantastic. This focus on objective play is really smart, especially on Consulate. You and I, Parker, we've both talked at length about how Consulate is one of the hardest maps to retake a post plan on from most sites, and that's, again, that is another thing that aids the plan for Oxygen. It makes sense strategically, but it's not working out so far. Oxygen just continuing to lose their fights on that entry, regardless of getting the plant down. That struggle, it seems to just never go away.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
I mean, there's a couple bomb sites that really come to mind, but I mean, retaking Teller's Archives is a challenge if your nitro cells don't go off, because your only ways up really are the Visa stairs and spiral stairs. Very, you know, it's relatively simple for a team to just hold those two stairwells. You can't really fight your way out of that, and they'll have the advantage because they'll know where you're coming from. You're not going to know where they are. Garage obviously is a complete and utter nightmare. You just plant the diffuser, get out of there as far away as you can, and use sites with superior magnification and play far enough back. It's a very big challenge for the defenders to know, once again, where you are and be able to out-aim you. So just those two bomb sites alone, then you think about lobby. Once again, you can walk through the door, get the plant off, and then escape. So yeah, I mean, DZ are making it look relatively easy, but no, this is really impressive stuff with how they've been able to determine the location of the OXG members and then punish them for it, all while managing the clock. So we'll see, though, if a post plan is even necessary here, because DZ deceptively finished that cycle 3 rounds in a row. They won Garage, they won Lobby, they won Tellers. Now, it might get more challenging because they lost Hyper, but Eclipse has been having a great game so far. 7 kills to his name, only a single death, and that was kill number 7 that we just witnessed, punishing Vertical, who has the most kills on OXG, though not far behind him is Laxing. Additionally, 90 seconds have fallen off of the clock here, and that is a troubling situation for OXG because they still don't have the control they want. Trying to figure out Eclipse's location as Foxay is on the hunt, but you have to be mindful of that clock.
Laxing trying to cut off rotations here on a very long angle. He's got the information for it. Specifically, he's hunting Eclipse. Now, Eclipse is likely to be successful on this cross when he goes for it. Right now, Eclipse... Oh! Through the wall! What a read! Eclipse takes down Slash. I don't think he had information. He'll hear the sledge above him on the drop. No kill for either player there. There's the drop from the sledge. Biologic reads the reload incorrectly. Eclipse with the triple kill in this round. Laxing and Foxay now continuing to try and hunt down this Vigil. And finally, Oxygen will get the better of Eclipse. But at what cost? The round is all but over at this point. Foxay and Laxing have a chance. We've got the garage open. We've got 40 seconds. And they have full HP on both of them. Plenty of utility as well. Even 4 smokes. So it's not over, but it's likely over. It's going to come down to whether or not Laxing and Foxay can show us some heroics. Nothing happening so far. Very slow on the decision-making here for Oxygen, which will leave them with barely any time for the execution. Trying to address the Teller's player. It's the Mira, who will go down to Foxay. That's big. 2v2 now. But only a few seconds to get into the site and find these last 2 frags. Gas canisters making that especially difficult. Foxay gets another, though. It's all on Mint. He needs to stay alive, and he won't be able to. Oxygen, a huge clutch. A 2 versus 3 with barely any time on the clock. And they keep their chances alive, managing some really important frags in that round.
Foxay taking matters into his own hands, popping the hatches over by Visa, and then taking the opportunity to drop, and there was some misplay from DZ that started right there on your screen. The Mira decides to swing on out when they could have just collapsed farther into the bomb site and realized the time was very much on their side. DZ stood pat, and I do wonder if some of it was Dark Zero not knowing the exact location of the Oxygen players until it was too late. Try to smoke off cafeteria, try to smoke off double doors at the bottom of the spiral stairs, and they're just going to trudge right through. You've got 2 of the best players on OXG still in the lobby in Foxay and Laxing. And if Laxing can pull off 1v4s on his own, just imagine what happens when you give him a little bit of help. I would have liked to have seen DZ maybe take a bit of a larger claim in the back of Garage, even though the Garage walls were opened up. If they knew that the pressure from OXG was being applied by the server portion, which is Archives down below, then maybe just try to kill time. Mint doesn't need to engage. I know that he went swinging, trying to get the pick. I think he downed Laxing, but he hadn't with Foxay. He went for the fight. He knew that it was coming. Laxing or Foxay didn't really seem to have full intel on where Mint was exactly in that room. Sprayed through the wall, and he got a couple hits that were enough to take out Mint on that roll. So honestly, that should have been a DZ round, but it doesn't always work out that way. You are not owed certain rounds, and with it, OXG has managed to keep this somewhat close.
That's the round that the Oxygen really needed to give them a good chance here. Vertical was baiting that C4. You saw him moving back and forth on the rappel. It was not on the window rappel. He was on the sidewall rappel, at the angle. So yeah, he was just trying to bait the C4 out, and Vertical was successful. They must have had information on Eclipse inside of admin. Utility wasted. Job done. Eclipse is going to be playing in Projector for his delay job, and this is interesting because last time he played in Projector, he did get shut down by a great push from Slash, and it was actually mostly the success of Eclipse has been when he's allowed to roam free, but he will take an aggressive fight and actually almost land a headshot onto Slash this time, but shot still missed. The goal here of delaying is going to continue for Dark Zero. It's on Oxygen to really take this fight.
Utility being dumped out by Vertical, and he's going to challenge Eclipse in this position that Eclipse was so successful in before, which is going to be right over top of the B bomb site. Now, Slash walked in and took out Eclipse in the previous altercation on lobby. That was all the way back in round number 1, and it certainly appears that Eclipse is a wanted man. He's likely going to receive a Selma on the wall. He decides to drop as there's just a ton of noise, and I think that's the right call. Fall off. You've wasted at this point about 100 seconds, minute and 40. And now you stay alive. You can play from another angle. You've still got Mint playing inside a connector with a deployable shield, so even though they took so much time to shake off Eclipse, there's going to be more time required to stop Mint in this spot. And you can hear the telltale signs of the Alda chew away at some of the HP of Foxay. 1 minute remaining, and Foxay is outside. Before OXG got particularly brash, tried to rush in to go for a plant inside of the doorway, I suspect that won't be the case, though they are positioned to do that with Foxay and Slash side by side. Biologic above, he can spring into action inside a meeting whenever he so chooses.
It's a good setup for DZ. Time is not in the favor of Oxygen. They will get the lead-off kill on Houghton. That's big. Gas canister keeping control of the top floor. Another one for Laxing. Min will get the player on the balcony, but at what cost at this point? Vertical gets hyper as well. Laxing with great entry, and the plant will go down, leaving just Skies with a sliver of HP. He does down Slash, and he'll finish him off, but he's got to find 3 more attackers. It just doesn't seem likely. Again, the discussion surrounding difficult to retake sites, this is certainly one of them. And Vertical, from above, no pun intended, will get the final kill.
So, OXG reads that one correctly, and well, they do exactly the same thing that they did before. Box out DZ on the retake. A couple rounds in that first half, now that it's finished, where we can do a post-mortem into exactly what we saw. And for Dark Zero, they had a couple good retake opportunities on a map that, as we need to say time and time again, not always the friendliest to your retake potential on defense. The map is small, it's narrow. The attackers have lots of ways to be able to get out of the bomb site, but still cover the diffuser and the bombs. So that poses a unique problem for those defenders. Still, DZ were able to keep it close with 2 beautiful retakes that happened on both round 3 and round 4. I think you could make a pretty compelling argument that structurally the execute from OXG was mighty fine, but DZ was able to still win the round because their post-plant structure was superior. Regardless, if you were to ask me which team was better during that first half, I would honestly probably give a small edge to OXG, but it's not that far apart. These teams both showed that they are comfortable on Consulate, at least on that role. Now that we've switched sides, maybe Oxygen is a superior team on defense. Maybe Dark Zero is a better team on attack. Maybe they mesh well with each other on that previous setup, and now things are going to change. That's what we're going to look out for here. DZ have brought a different lineup than what we saw to OXG. Their players play different roles, so expect to see a litany of different operators being brought from DZ, including maybe even a shield or 2.
Yeah, it's possible, certainly. Dark Zero is known to bring the shield, particularly on Mint, but he'll be bringing the Yana for now. And if we're looking at the stats for Consulate, Oxygen tends to fare better on attack. Dark Zero tends to fare better on defense, ever so slightly. And that's on past matches for Consulate. So those stats you can use for basic judgment. Oh, Skies on drone. He won't see Laxing run out right in front of him. He managed to get a kill, and Skies will get off drone and get the refrag. So a little bit of an odd engagement there. Laxing had no idea anyone was on the balcony because he didn't bother to check. He just knew that there was someone on rappel, and he wanted that kill. So even exchange, Vertical going to confront one at top Visa, and he'll lose that fight out to the DMR of Eclipse, who has not been missing his shots through this map so far. That roam clear works out very well in the end, despite losing Hyper, because they're going to get hacked cams and the man advantage quite swiftly.
So OXG will trail, and there you have DZ comfortable on this third floor. Bomb site is the very bottom floor, basement, if you want to call it. And DZ have time to work with. We are just about to hit the halfway mark. And you've got 3 pretty good operators remaining for OXG. A Pulse with a Nitro Cell, Impacts to Impact Trick if required for Bio, and then Slash sitting on the smoke. Not to mention the fact that Bio is going to have the Alda in hands. Bio is the only member of the lobby right now that is still searching for his first kill. You've got to think that for OXG to want to keep this close, they need to be good at it. There goes Dokkaebi. Eclipse was trying to either hack a phone or make a phone call happen. But what doesn't happen is his survival. OXG evens things out at 3 apiece with just a little tiny bit over a minute to go.
Good pick there by the Pulse. Biologic will be forced off thanks to the holes above. Garage Wall does get opened up. That's great for DZ's chances in this round. They've got all the right tools for the attack. Oxygen need to do something further beyond that pick that Foxy managed to get earlier to dissuade this assault. So far, none of that coming out. Lots of information gathered by those drones for DZ, and they are set up well for this execution, but they're biding their time and waiting for the right moment. They don't want to take any unnecessary risks.
There go a bunch of smoke. Sounds like it might have been answered by one of the toxic canisters. They all have the same sound. Slash takes a beating for his throw as Mint picks off Biologic. Now Fox is next in line, but a swing from the smoke will net 1. Slash will need to clutch out as it's him versus Skies and Hot and Cold. Diffuser has not gone down, and it'll be dropped as Slash looking for a miracle play. He'll have the shotgun out. He's got a control against Skies. He's only got 2 bullets. Only 1 left. 2 seconds, and he'll lose it to Skies. Dark Zero takes the first round. A heartbreaker for Slash. Oh, so close.
Great read there from Skies, and yeah, that's certainly a heartbreaker, Parker. You have to imagine, based on the way that Slash played that, he probably would have fared better if he had any weapon with a larger magazine. He was stuck between a rock and a hard place with his weapon selection there. The range or limited range of the shotgun and the almost, well, out ammo of his SMG-11. No chance for a reload. What can you really do? Well played, though, to Skies. He definitely controlled that situation better than many players would. Knew exactly what was necessary of him. Landed the shot when it really counted. And Dark Zero, in general, on that execution, used their utility exceptionally well. One of the keys to the round is, well, after Foxy gets the pick with the C4, it's even man count. There's only about 40 seconds at this point, but the Ace has managed to open up the garage. You do have control of yellow, and the Buck is doing great work opening above, forcing the anchors further back. Now, that buffer that the Buck established by bucking above, forcing the roamers into security, kitchen, all the way back into lockers, actually, even, that buffer allowed DZ a little bit of room to play by the garage breach. And keep in mind, you know, as much as these holes are opened above, and as much as the, you know, garage got opened up, it's only just enough for Dark Zero to say they can effectively utilize these advantages. Just barely as they were breaching garage. There's not enough manpower to really use the holes from above. So the impressive part about all of this is it was a standard execution by DZ done with extremely limited manpower and limited time as well. So I got to give massive props to DZ for managing that. It's a bare bones execution. This time they're going to open up the garage first thing into the round.
Yeah, they're not going to waste any time here. I feel like there are great videos that could be made about the prioritization of that garage wall that teams have, because we've seen teams open it immediately and then dawdle for 2 straight minutes, and then we've seen teams do everything but and then open the garage and immediately seize that opportunity. You know, as the old saying goes, 6 of one, half a dozen
of the other. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. See, you got it, Michael.
I did.
You knew. You're picking up what I'm putting down. Anyway. So OXG now realize that they can't move as comfortably near that garage wall. And you've also got a Maestro camera situated right next to it. So If they really want, they can zap away. You've got those 2 Maestro cameras looking at positions where you see default plants go off, and those Selmas are horrifying. Those do not look like they did their job, and I have to suspect that after the first one got opened up, Bio likely impacted both and broke them. So this is going to pose a problem to Dark Zeros. They're only going to have 1 entry point to head through.
Yeah, and it's the one in the middle, which is actually probably the most exposed panel of the 3. So this is going to be good for Oxygen when the actual site take comes out. But right now, DZ's just gathering information. They're using their drones to figure out what they're going to deal with on the execution. Now, the longer they wait, the less useful that utility will be, so they'll go right after the drones. Laxing gets 1 on the entry. Here goes the plant. It's over by Trash. Slash will also get another, so the attack is losing manpower swiftly, but they answer back swiftly as well. Even man count here. No plant, though, for DZ. They get off of it, so they have a gun up. C4 does damage, but Hot and Cold wins the fight. Foxy will get Hyper, who was pushed up a little bit too far. Laxing and Foxy now just trying to play passive, and the man advantage now swings to Oxygen. Hotton with a sliver of HP, but he's made his way into Kitchen. This might not be known by Oxygen, as this is a little bit of an odd spot. He was trying to plant so his teammates could cover him, but there's no chance for that now. If that's the pulse above, he'll be using his cardiac sensor, and he'll call it out. Laxing will hear it, and he'll take the fight. Beautiful round there from Oxygen. The attack, losing too much manpower on that push.
So they go to Garage twice. They end up coming out with a victory the second time. And I mean, you have to think that the small changes in the way that OXG read their defense on that very first execute from DZ was a big part of why OXG tightened things up and were able to come away with it. I mean, obviously ignoring the fact that it was a 1v1 where if Slash had 3 shots in that shotgun instead of 2, Skies might not have lived, if you remember. So I liked Oxygen's patience, and I think DZ read it too, you know, getting Hot and Cold off of the plant, allowing him to frag when he knew that the Nitro Cell was going out and he had to fight back from it, because if he did go for the plant, he would have been picked off immediately. That's a smart choice on his behalf, and obviously one that I suspect he did not make on his own. It was likely aided with the rest of his team. So with that said, I mean, both of these teams proving to be as even as the scoreline suggests. And with that, OXG claiming Garage will look to do what DZ did, which is win a full rotation. Over to Teller's Archives, they'll go for this, technically the second bomb site that they're defending, even though it's the 3rd round. DZ still going to bring a single hard breacher and ace, but take a look at those 2 bottom operators. You got Lion and Ying on the board for DZ to try and take control of the bomb site.
What a pair. We'll see how those change the outcome of this round, for better or for worse. Dark Zero could certainly lose out for not having enough utility in other regards. They've got some hard breach, they got a little bit of soft and a little bit of explosive, but less than is typically brought of all 3. So a little bit of a concession, but I think that there's potential here, especially with Dark Zero. They typically have a plan for every operator, so if they're going to bring a Lion and a Ying, I'm sure they have a very specific execution in mind. Can't wait to see what it is. Can't wait to see how Oxygen deals with it, too, because Oxygen have been dealing with these fairly well. First Lion charge there, EE1D, and a lot of detections going out. Oxygen are actually all downstairs, interestingly. No roam up top. And once that's established, it'll be good information for DZ, and they'll be able to use those top floors to pressure the site.
Foxy's got the shotgun as well for the pulse. We've seen this a few times recently, where that shotgun underneath at close enough range can be pretty impactful. I mean, yeah, we joke about the UMP's effectiveness as a weapon and how it's not the greatest. You know, a certain player on Space Station has talked about how bad the UMP can be, and I feel like that FBI shotgun is slept on. I mean, the problem with that is that your pulse is, if you're playing any long-range engagements, you're going to lose out on that. Vertical gets a tiny bit of damage now as we look towards the midway point of round number 9, and there goes another EE1D. This one less successful than the first, though it was able to keep the defenders at bay, while DZ harrowingly takes control of Visa. That appears to be the first Nitro Cell that has had no impact. Likely Laxing, since he's the only one without one. That would be my guess. Still 3 remaining. Make that 2. The pulse from Foxy gets baited into it by Skies playing in the same area. That's 2 Nitro Cells that Skies has been able to walk away from. And as you can tell, he hasn't taken a single point of damage yet.
There's the plant attempt here from Hot and Cold, and the Pulse is going to use his shotgun, as you talked about, from below to get the kill. No C4 necessary. He'll even light up Mint as he attempts to retrieve the diffuser. Cardiac sensor back out, and there's a read, but it's a fake out from the Ying. The Cadellas don't go down where he wants. He's trying to get them through the floor, but the C4 will land, and down goes your Ying. Vertical has been downed as well. DZ, though, struggling with this man count. On top of that, they're running out of time, and look at this. Oxygen are retaking from their site position. They're going to start to retake up top and in the middle floor to pressure these planters. The Pulse is still alive. He's still calling out these attempts. There's even still C4 in play. Nothing going the way of DZ, except for finally something does. There's the Roamer shut down. Slashug eats some damage deep into the site. The Sky's playing the long angle will get a kill onto Foxy. He's covering the retreat there over by the Visa stairs. Hyper gets one, and there's the final. It's Mira, who doesn't stop the planted time. Pistol out there for the assault rifle. Gone out of ammo. Eclipse gets the kill. What an absolute mess. Laxing just trying to bait out, I guess, the entire team shots, but DZ will win it on a plant there, regardless of the disadvantages stacked against them.
Sky's the man of the hour on that one. Just standing in the hallway, watching the bomb site, able to also cover over by yellow stairs if somebody was there. And I mean, you could fill most of this highlight reel that's rolling across your screen with Skies' performance and his performance alone, playing the angle as the Buck. What a hugely impactful round from him. And I know that oftentimes Skies does tend to get a pretty large spotlight no matter what team he's playing on, but let's take a look at what he did. Number one, he was able to open up the walls over towards the stairway below Visa. It allowed his team a way in. It also allowed them sight lines so they could battle back against any defenders that pushed up from that angle. Skies dodged 2 Nitro Cells, which means that those Nitro Cells that are intended to kill your diffuse planter, in which case it successfully killed Mint when he was trying to drop his Candelas down below, but there were 2 that were no longer available because they got expended trying to kill the Buck, who danced around them, then opened up the other wall, held angles leading down into the bomb site where he was able to do some damage on those members of OXG that were looking to stop the diffuse from going down, and then also had the retake upstairs at the top of Visa. That is one man stifling an entire team, and you have to give him praise for that. So we talk about how not all your contributions are on the scoreboard. That was a pretty contribution heavy round from Skies, and I think he only ended up getting 2 kills overall. So a lot that he added that isn't shown up on the left side of your screen.
Scoreboard's not always the best measurement of performance. This is the second match in a row, though, for Biologic where he has struggled. Something's going on there. Don't know what it is. He is doing other things, as you talked about, Parker. But yeah, on the actual kills front, he's been having a tough go of it. Now, this lobby defense here, very heavy presence upstairs. Laxing looking to run out by Visa. There's no one there to run out on just yet, but probably will be an attacker rotating to the balcony at some point to try and deal with Foxy. Well, Dark Zero seem very focused on CEO. I think they want to do a piano take. They're going to have to confront the top of yellow stairs and this player by Vase before they can actually execute onto piano, though. That way they don't have to deal with anyone from above.
There's a flash from Bio playing off of this spot on the stairs. He'll juice himself up, expecting a swing from somebody. Another drone will come up that way as well. Bio has vertical watching from behind, and a missed Wamai magnet will need to get tossed on out. The vertical's having a bit of difficulty. Grenade goes off, and not enough being done to Bio to shake him from his position. Slash is down below as well to cover this, but there goes a grenade. Got eaten, it appears, and now it's gone. Another EE1D goes, and DZ are getting caught up way too heavily on these yellow stairs. They don't seem to know what to do next, and struggling to force Bio out of this position as he's aided by both Slash and Vertical means that if DZ reads into this and pushes elsewhere, they're only going to have to tussle against Laxing and Foxy, because those 3 members of OXG all in the same spot are all setting up to protect each other, and Slash gets things started with a pick onto Hyper. Bio finally gets finished off. Sky's a second kill. He's in a plume of smoke. very low on HP. He'll just narrowly evade it. That's Foxy watching and Foxy finishing it off. How's that for former teammates and payback for Skies on that previous round? A 3v3 with 45 seconds left. Make that a 2v3 as Slash finds kill number 2. Playing outside with the UMP, and it doesn't take too long for him to find number 3. That'll leave Mint in a 1v3. This number, we continuously keep coming back to it. Don't drop out there, Mint. You have so much left to live for. You could clutch this round. You got 30 seconds to go. The diffuser is a country mile away. And picking up on the heartbeat sensor is none other than Slash. He's not going to bother to engage with this. Very smartly, you don't want to put yourself in harm's way. He'll let Mint try to attack the A bomb site, but Laxing will be sitting there watching. What a shot from Mint! Beautifully read onto Laxing, finishing off the Jaeger. And now Mint's sights are aligned on the spiral stairs, but he's got only 10 seconds left. Now it's down to 5. Default cam is up. This is an unwinnable situation, and Mint is going to be a sitting duck, with Foxy being allowed to finish things off. Doesn't matter if Slash is the cardiac sensor or not. OXG takes another round. And with that, they're tied up yet again, 5-5.
Great round there from Slash and Fox. Both of them putting up impressive performances. Well, you talked about it as it was happening, Parker, and you're absolutely right. The issue there for DZ's attack was that they were too fixated on yellow stairs, and yet they did not have the necessary tools to dislodge the players on yellow stairs. Now, I hear you saying, well, they did manage to do it eventually, and yes, indeed, they did. Skies repelling in from bathroom. Very ballsy play, and one that could have easily backfired, but Skies gets 2 kills out of that. Great. They finally get the yellow stairs control, but at that point, they've already lost a few players, they've already lost plenty of utility, and the struggle is not getting any better for the attack. So, Oxygen take that advantage of the time wasted, the manpower lost, and they turn it into a successful defense, thanks to the well-timed aggression from Slash and the good anchor play, as well as top roam frag from Foxy. We'll go to basement for the next round. Not going to see a pulse here. Finally, that's being shooed on Oxygen's lineup. They will be roaming inside of the bathroom. This is a common roam that we see on the basement defense. Very good at delaying the clear from the top down that the attack always brings out.
5 seconds left.
Cannot get over how close this is right now. Do you think this works out better for DZ or for OXG? Who do you think benefits from this matchup staying so close?
Well, this is DZ's map pick. So obviously they want the win, but you and I both have seen so many matches where that doesn't matter. So if we go ahead and shoot that, we just push it out of our minds.
Consider it a shoot.
I would say that Oxygen is the one that's benefiting from this being as close as it is. There's a little bit of discussion about this on the lead-in, where I think DZ is the team expected to have the results. They are the team expected to be on the top in this kind of a matchup. And even though Oxygen has proven time and time again that they are a top 4 team in North America, there's still this layer of progress, and I think Veli put this well, that Oxygen has, where they're moving forward. They are getting better match to match. And Dark Zero, it feels almost as if they've been on top for a long time, even though technically, if we're looking at the record, it hasn't been forever. It's been long enough. And so, yeah, no, I think Oxygen are probably in a really great place right now mentally. And again, if you're taking a look at the stats, Dark Zero tends to fare better on defensive consulate. And they didn't have as much success on their defense as they hoped to. Further, Oxygen, I don't know. They seem like they're playing really well.
I would, Michael, I concur.
Do you concur, Parker?
I concur, Michael.
Excellent.
There
Well,
goes
then
the first.
I'll let you handle it.
Here goes the first bit of contact in front of our eyes as an EE1D goes off. The second one used so far. Nitro Cell from Foxy goes out. It doesn't appear that it connects at all. Hyper actually picks up that first kill as Mint will need to be retrieved. That's a stroke of luck for Dark Zero as they open things up. The team that wins this round goes on to match point. It's my favorite round in the entire game. Love round number 11. Now Slash is taking an awful lot of damage, and he'll be finished off once again from above. That's the last Lion charge. That'll be used, and Sky's raining over top of them, just raining hellfire down on this team. We are in round number 11, and Biologic has still not gotten a kill just yet. Watch for a big round from him. He's going to be commanding inside of security with that Alda in hand, and he's going to have even more work to do now, as it's just Bio versus Laxing. Laxing will head on back right next to the Alda that we hear going off. Hot and Cold attempting the plant. There's Laxing to punish one. The defuse, damage being done, but no, it's Bio in a 1vx, and he loses it. No kills still. That's a rough round for him as the diffuser goes down, and Dark Zero sits on match point.
Well, we talk about how Oxygen are playing well, and then Dark Zero give us a round like that. Very close calls for both teams. The confrontation by Bathroom ending up going the way of Dark Zero. There was a down there for Oxygen. They did get some damage done, and there was a little bit of time wasted, but all in all, Dark Zero won in the end on the top 2 floors. Plenty of time to execute, plenty of soft destruction to do it with. Holes opened above, standard fare, you know how it goes, yada yada yada. Garage open, pressure applied, and following that clear, all of the picks go the way of Dark Zero 2 in the site. They managed to win all those fights, and well, at this point, it just doesn't seem like Oxygen has much of a chance. So there it is. Easy turn that snowball into a round win. And now, staring down the barrel of the first map going the way of Dark Zero. Now, a reminder, this is Dark Zero's map pick, as I just mentioned. Map number 2 is going to be Cafe. This was picked by Oxygen, and when we get to it, if we get to it, Clubhouse will be the decider. We've got a really old lineup of maps here. One, of course, that both these teams are really practiced on.
10 seconds left.
That's weird to think about. We used to have new maps all the time, Parker.
New maps are canceled, Michael. That was the agreement we made?
The contract we signed.
Well, a remade Skyscraper is coming out next.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you've also got you got Chalet, which I mean, I don't know what your opinions are, but I think when we're looking to fill some time with banter, we can discuss the logistics and possibility of that map being added to the competitive map pool versus maybe taking something else out.
We'll see what that is.
Well, I mean, that's a discussion point for us. But anyway, there's a match on the line right now. Dark Zero can prevail 7-5, or we'll need 2 more rounds to settle this. If it does go to overtime, Oxygen will be defending twice. And just as we've actually seen a couple times as of late, DZ are defending first on every map. OXG are attacking first on every map. And when it gets to OT, OXG will be defending twice every OT if required. So it's a little fun fact for you here. Some consistency makes it easier.
Yeah, there's a clear preference being displayed from both of these teams, actually. And it's counter to one another. This is a retake here for Oxygen. They're going to try and get back into the middle floor, but it's been spotted, actually. Vertical will be droned out in the main lobby. That is excellent timing for DZ. EE1D forces him to stand still, but he manages to position himself inside of the bathroom before that EE1D detonates. That's well-timed positioning from Vertical. Here comes the Yana clone, trying to bait out Vertical, and it will be successful. Vertical now trapped, and he will be shut down by Hot and Cold. Great read from Dark Zero, and ooh, the timing for Hotten. When he sees that one on the VOD, he is going to be upset, I'm sure. But still, the manpower is in favor of DZ as they set up to now execute on the site.
Fox A and Slash down below watching. Nitro Cell on hand for Fox A and Nitro Cell for Laxing as well. It seems to be a similar setup here from Dark Zero as Skies again on this very pivotal role just in the east corridor that's referred to as the hallway right outside of the bomb site. He can dance around those Nitro Cells. He can prove to be quite valuable. There's another C4 that goes off that doesn't quite find its target. Hot and Cold taking some damage, but it's his time to plant. It's in a pretty common spot. Skies will be the one to watch it. He eats a lot of damage, and Hot and Cold manages to get it down right as Foxay punishes him for it. This is more troubling for Dark Zero. Biologic finds his very first kill of the game in round number 12. Is it going to be of high impact? That's the question. Mint's fearing somebody over on yellow stairs. It's Bio. He's punished for it. And now Hyper also from above with Skies the lone man sitting, waiting, watching. Mint will be taken out, so it's Hyper and Skies. There's Skies. He doesn't seem to know where Foxa's going. Down goes Laxing as well. Slash in a 1v2, but Slash loses it. Skies another huge round, and Dark Zero takes map 1, 7-5.
The patience, the wherewithal, the endurance of Dark Zero shows in this map here as they manage to take that, what was a very tight map number 1 on Consulate. They just don't choke. They don't waver at all in the final rounds. Those last 2 rounds were exceptionally well executed by Dark Zero. Oxygen had some moments of brilliance as well. So it wasn't exactly one-sided necessarily, but it was clear, at least in the last 2 rounds, who was in control of that map.
Yeah, DZ looked, I would say, like I told you when we switched sides, I thought OXG looked pretty good on the first half, keeping it 3-3, and then they swapped sides, and well, DZ were just a superior team on attack. They brought an awful lot of tools, and they managed to succeed with most of them, and I think those Teller's Archives takes from DZ that we watched, Skies in particular, were quite nice, very majestic, if you want to call it that. But with that said, DZ has a 1-map advantage now, and they'll go to Cafe, a map that they tend to be pretty decent on, not terrible. So they could be able to put this one away, and they could prove that they're the best team in North America heading into the major. We've got a break for you, and then the analysts. So sit tight, don't touch that browser. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, and what a battle. Tit for tat, back and forth. The pressure constantly on for both sides, but Dark Zero able to edge out OXG in the end, winning map 1 Consulate 7-5. Veli, we were watching, and that last round happened, and literally we're all dead silent, and you said a word that I can't say on the stream, but I literally was thinking the same thing in my head, because it was just exhausting to watch this whole all play out. And then I was thinking the exact same thing, man. That's all I wanted to say.
It was definitely crazy, but I'm just gonna say this: we call him Bio, but Bio couldn't buy a kill that round. I think he got one in the last round. It was insane. But Jesse, what's your take on this, man?
I mean, this was a really tough round for sure. I thought that there were some great clutch plays. We see the first one on your screen now. Sky's in the 1v1. I thought he had a fantastic matchup. There wasn't really one player that dominated this map like sometimes we see with Laxing or sometimes we see with Hyper, but it really was like a lot of really big heavy plays. That was a fun run out. Slash getting a lot of kills in that particular one. And then all the way back into round number 12, I thought that Skies had a really great play. Just at the end, managing to clean up those players with standing inside of the bomb site. We'll see it soon here. I do love the fact, right here, this is the 3K. Everybody just swings them in the doorway and he manages to get all three of them. So I think Skies is probably the MVP if I had to pick one, but this was a really team-based game, and it got crazy, it got aggressive, but it definitely was everybody in the server stepping up except for maybe Bio.
Oh man,
Shout
Veli's terrible joke too. Oh my god, couldn't buy a kill. But you know, Jesse was just talking about the aggression there, and Veli Oxygen was very aggressive, and this aggression did help them with entry fragging, but you felt like it also hurt them in ways.
Yeah, so by the way, Jesse, he highlighted the point that they needed to work on their opening kills. Their ears were burning, they did exactly that. I believe Oxygen lost about one opening duel throughout that entire first half, and big thanks to Slashhug because he had the most important picks. Now let's talk about how that really changed the shape of the game. Bio, he killed Eclipse first. I believe it was in the second round. Eclipse was Smoke. Smoke is an anchor. But not only that, Eclipse didn't even put the shield down. So that was one. And then a few rounds later, he got the entry kill in Garage on the post player. It was an Archives and server hold, and it went so well. But the thing with Oxygen's downfall, even though they almost won that map, is their aggression. Their aggression helped them get those entry kills that we weren't expecting, but it's later on in the rounds. The thing is, even though they won about every opening duel, their aggression didn't really pay off. And especially when Foxay was Amaru, I believe in round number 4 or 5, I forget. But Foxay, he gets the entry kill with Amaru, he yeets in the piano, gets the plant. Within about that 10 seconds of him getting the plant down and afterwards, 3 of his teammates die. They're stuck in a 2v5 just about, and they couldn't win it out. And it's those types of odds that really gives Oxygen those losses. If they can learn to use that aggression to their favor to get those opening picks, but then slow it down, I think they have a legitimate chance at winning this map because they were up every single time in that first half.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to talk about map 2, but really quickly, I do want to talk about map 1 a little bit more. And Jesse, Dark Zero, they were using some unorthodox operators on attack. Why do you think that this was an effective strategy? How did it affect their opponent?
I mean, I think it changed based on, you know, what operators they were being brought out. There's the Dokkaebi I think they brought out first on attack, which, you know, got them some camera access, helped them out a little bit, but maybe didn't have the hugest impact. Then we saw the Ying, and they've done this before, where they're attacking that Teller's Archives bomb site, and they use those Yings to try to blind the pulse. That strat particularly, like, didn't do exactly what they wanted it to, but they did win the round. You know, they managed to waste a lot of C4s, and so I thought that that's still a pretty effective and interesting way to handle that bomb site. And then the Lion was probably the most effective sort of unorthodox operator that we saw being brought out by Dark Zero. Managed to just hold those players, and on a map like Consulate where you do a lot of vertical kills, you know, you're oftentimes above somebody, opening things up with a Buck or the Sledge or something else, maybe the Zofia, and you're trying to kill these players. Having that line to make them stand still really does help in those situations. So I really like the line used to come in from them. They even had a cap can, I believe, on defense for a round. I didn't notice it, you know, doing anything. But still, you know, it's nice that they're trying out a couple different operators and not afraid to experiment with some of those things.
Yeah, it's always fun to see them mix it up. Sometimes it works, sometimes not so much. But gentlemen, our community poll results are in, and the question was, who will have a stronger performance today in the battle for the firsts? Laxing or Hyper? Who do you think won?
That's a toss-up to me.
I think it's Laxing. I think Laxing was the better performer in map 1 by a bit. And I would have voted for him.
Yeah, he didn't win. Sorry. Laxing got 43% and Hyper got 57%. But man, both of these are these two players are just monsters. DZ and OXG, all their players are monsters. They're so good. Let's get to final thoughts, gentlemen. What are we thinking for map 2 here? You both picked OXG. Dark Zero is like, no, I don't think so. So, Veli, what do you think is going to happen on map 2?
I'm still rocking with Oxygen. Like I said earlier, now I wish I could expand more, right? But it would take all day. Once they get those early picks that they're so good at, right? They just need to slow it down. If Oxygen really slows down their tempo and work together as a team to get these wins, I'm telling you, they can steamroll through Dark Zero. I don't mean that in a negative way, but they can beat Dark Zero. And that's something I expect. I'm still holding on strong.
Okay, sticking with OXG. Jesse, what about you?
I mean, I think the last map, Consulate, was one where Oxygen are very familiar with. Dark Zero brought some new, exciting things to the map, and that resulted in a really close game, as you'd expect. This next one was Oxygen's pick, so they should have more of an edge. That last one went 7-5. I'm going to stick with Oxygen to take this one. I think map 3 Clubhouse is going to be where they really struggle, so I guess we'll see after map 2 how it goes.
Jackie,
All
if Bio
right.
gets more than 5 kills, Oxygen wins the map, all right? That's my prediction. All right?
Bio. Stop
All right.
picking on Bio, okay? Well, gentlemen, I believe that our teams are ready. So next map is Cafe. We're going to hand it over to our casters, Kixen and Taro. Take it away, gentlemen. Super excited for this map too. Bye.
Thank you very much, Jackie. I'm really excited as well. I don't really know what to expect. I think, and I hate to say it, the word accountability comes up quite a lot. But I got to say, if Bio drops more than 1 kill that map, they probably go to overtime. So as much as it's not fair for us to always point out a single player and all that jazz, I definitely do think that there needs to be some focus on Bio. And you know what? Maybe he would have played better if he was played on the Acer Predator Helio 700. One of the finest laptops that you can possibly get. I don't have it within reach right now, but I've been using it. It's a beast of a laptop. It's great. I recommend it enough. Michael apparently doesn't have his within reach either. Mine's on a separate desk that I use. So who knows? You can get more than 1 kill at this level if you use it.
I was gonna go get it, but no. But yes, I actually have a different one. I have the 500, the Triton 500, but it's also.
Yeah, I know mine's better than yours, by the way.
Wow. Okay, he's just gonna do that to it. Just gonna do that.
Me.
Anyway, whatever. Yeah, no. On the note of accountability, actually, because since this is an ongoing conversation, yeah, I think Bio's definitely, he's been struggling, and it's unfortunate to see, but we do still have at least one more map for him to try and change his course in this series. Possibly 2 more maps. Maybe if he changes significantly enough over this map number 2, we'll get to the 3rd. We're gonna go ahead and load on into it. It's Cafe. This is Oxygen's map pick. And we'll have the band phase go ahead and start on out.
Hey man, that's Ace. DZ bans Ace, an operator that both teams used quite a lot of on a map like Cafe. We've seen how Ace can be applied to the bakery wall leading into kitchen. We've seen how Ace can be applied on the wall in red. We can see how Ace is applied on the freezer wall. On the back bar wall. He's gone, and so is Maverick, which means that we're actually going to go way back. This is the way back playback, Michael, where the operators that we see for Hard Breach are going to be Hibana or Thermite. It's been quite a while since they were the only 2 options available. The good news is for both of these teams, they have very capable Hibana and Thermite players. So they're not going to be handicapped too much in that regard, but if your strategies revolved around either the Blowtorch of Maverick or the Selmas of Ace, then obviously you are going to need to make a couple changes. Wamai and Valkyrie are banned out on defense. Mute was banned on the previous map, but Valk is a constant here from Dark Zero, and Oxygen are very good at playing off of intel. It stands to reason that you take Valk out.
So this is interesting. Dark Zero are actually the ones this time to ban out the map-specific, or rather preference, operators. That's your Ace and your Valkyrie. They're banned by Dark Zero. It's typically Dark Zero to ban the statistically advantageous operators, but not so here. Maverick and Wamai are, in this case, direct counterbans to Dark Zero. Now, keep in mind, Wamai is one of the top 2 most played operators for both of these teams on this map, and statistically, it works out equally for both of them. Wamai is just a really strong op here. He's good. Not having Wamai will completely change up the defensive strategy, as will having a Mira, as you see Dark Zero bringing that Mira. That's great that the Mira is brought because it compensates for the lack of a Wamai. For those of you who are unaware, the spot next to Skies right now is actually called Pixel, and in Pixel, you typically put a shield, plenty of ADSs, and you'll play Wumai there so he can juggle his magnets. But because Wumai is banned, you're not usually going to play in Pixel. You just can't without that clear utility. Or you can, but it's more dangerous. So to compensate for that, Mira is brought by Mint. And Dark Zero will still have pressure from that angle, but it won't be as direct.
A lot of people have talked about Warden's resurgence as of late, and there's two big reasons for that. No, his gadget has not really changed. He's being brought because he has a 1.5 scope and he has a deployable shield. Ooh. Look at that. 3 ADSs, and if required, he just activates his little bloop gadget watch, his glasses, and he can see through whatever you throw at him. It's a very strong spot for Eclipse to be playing off of. And if need be, he can escape to the bathroom as well. But Eclipse is going in the opposite direction. He seems quite intent to take a fight over by the main doorway into Piano. Maybe be playing the angles down below, so that's where Vertical is.
That could be a strategic blunder there from Oxygen, or forced blunder by DZ, because I'm guessing Oxygen expected the pixel play to just not exist, but DZ has doubled down. They really want it there, even with the Thatcher in play. Thatcher can EMP directly above that spot and cause it to be a death sentence. We'll see how DZ plays it, of course. They're not committed to actually being in pixel. Right now, roam clear from Oxygen is their focus. They know that there are some roamers downstairs, specifically Mint here inside of Reading. He can do a lot of work from this position, but Vertical is on the hunt.
So, we're at almost the halfway mark, and Dark Zero are invested in the second floor, as well as up top. It is a little bit strange to see Cocktails the very first bomb site, as it's fallen so far out of favor. Once Mint gets droned out, he's going to get flushed out by the Buck, and there you go. It looks like they're going to try to take the fight to him, but no, he gets caught in the crossfire from Skies. Well read. Vertical in punishes him. He manages to go under the sight of Skies, and Vertical does take out Mint, as there was a Nitro cell waiting on the wall, but they trade off operators. Foxy, I would argue, is significantly more impactful than where Mint was playing at. Vertical takes a lot of damage from his spot inside of Reading. He'll go on to drone. A minute left for things to calm ever so slightly before Oxygen are going to be able to put their foot back on the gas. They head into this map trailing, so obviously they're going to want a very strong start here on a map like Cafe, but they have the downside of starting on attack. 45 seconds left in the round.
Impacts from below. Hyper will eat a little bit of damage, but not enough for it to really matter. In fact, it won't matter. Vertical is on low HP, so he doesn't get more than he's already bargained for. Well, DZ are reassessing their defensive setup by breaking some mirror windows, or possibly it's Oxygen doing it from below. Either way, things are changing here on the site. Key to this round, though, is the time. Eclipse will take down Slash. Only 20 seconds for these attackers to put pressure on the top floor, and it doesn't really seem like that's happening right now. Diffuser at the top of White. Eclipse will shut him down through the smoke. That's a great use of the Warden gadget there. He'll get a second. No, misses the shot. Goes for the reload. Smoke expired. Skies gets one, and Hyper, the last. If it's not Warden picking up the frags, it's somebody else on DZ. A nice hold there as Oxygen attempted to push up from below.
I also do think, as we can kind of dive into this Warden play. Number one, Gridlock is a very popular operator for OXG. Laxing loves running Gridlock. So you're going to see smokes on the board because that's the secondary gadget that most Gridlock players are going to bring.
Right.
If Ace is available, Ace is also going to be bringing smokes. Jackal also happens to be a very popular operator for OXG. So Warden doesn't just work in terms of his gun and his side gadget, which is that deployable shield, but he also effectively counters one of the best tools that OXG is consistently bringing, which is the smoke grenades on attack. You got to see it right there firsthand with Eclipse, who was able to fire through the smoke, and nobody knew he was playing behind that deployable shield, and he almost took down Laxing as well from that same spot, if I remember which operator it was correctly. So really good gadget usage from Warden against the Gridlock and against the smokes that went out. And, well, I mean, everything seemed to be working out in their favor, and DZ managed to do quite well on a bomb site that we don't really see defenders do all that great on recently.
Yeah, the top floor, as sites go, is falling somewhat out of favor. And I mean, if we take a look at the stats right now, it is still good in terms of defensive win rate. Statistically, it's at a 56% favor for the defense, which places it at the second best site overall, but it is being played far less. So the stats mean, I guess, less overall, even though Cafe has been played quite a lot. Your standard site right now is for sure the Kitchen, followed by Reading in the US division. And both of those are very good sites overall, even if you're looking at the stats. So right now, it will be the Reading defense for Dark Zero. They're trying to keep it upstairs. They're also going to bring a Clash, which is a very interesting operator and one that is super annoying to deal with. So we'll see how Oxygen handles that one.
This is very off-brand for Dark Zero to bring a shield, Michael. So this one's a total. This is a real U-turn for them.
For those of you who don't know, Mint is one of the preeminent shield players in.
I would say actually now that Pengu is not playing shields as regularly as he used to, I would say that Mint is probably the best shield player in the world at the moment.
Yes, he is up there. You could certainly say number one. He does play shields quite a lot, so yeah. At least we know that for sure. And I'm guessing he'll put a lot of use into this Clash.
That seems to be the place. He's playing inside of the Humidor, watching red stairs, and Hyper is there to help him if required. Hyper gets droned out, and down goes Biologic to Hot and Cold on that first floor. I don't know if Bio was solo entering, but those EMPs will not be that effective at the moment. Eclipse is also upstairs, and he's got the cross after Mint had taken quite a beating, and the Clash will move out from their position. There goes Hyper, spotted from Laxing above. Hyper was playing over by the bottom of Skylight. Vertical now goes to Skies. All this action is happening somewhere else on the map. Our focus above is a beautiful shot from Skies, claims Slash. Diffuser drops inside of Engine. So Foxy and Laxing in a 4v2, which has now become a 3v2. There goes Skies, punished for his crimes. 4-1, he'll sit on the bench for the remainder of the round. 1 minute left, so Foxy and Laxing, last time they were in this position on Consulate, they won the round. Will they be able to repeat that same magic here?
Mint is still in play. Low HP, yes, but a Clash is a Clash, and he'll be gathering a lot of information as well as slowing down the attack when he spots it. Laxing and Foxy, though, they are known to win these, as you mentioned, Parker, so let's not count the attack out just yet. Be a drop on top red. Laxing trying to distract by dining to allow his teammate to position better. Tracks going out towards pillars. Default cam is up, and Laxing did not shoot it, so that'll be calling. It's called out by one of his teammates who's likely spectating him, and he'll go for the repeat to get the camera eventually. You can see the Melusi of Hot and Cold inside of Reading. He'll be trying to impact to deny this push-in. Nade gets the Melusi gadget, but there's only 15 seconds left. The push will have to come out here for Oxygen. They don't have a choice. The last smoke goes into the site. The drop from above is caught by Laxing. A beautiful frag there, and he'll start the plant. No C4, only impacts, and the read is incorrect. Here comes the plant, and it's all the way down as Foxy covers from above. It'll be the final kill for Laxing, and Oxygen will win the round 2v4, or rather 3 on the clutch.
They do it again!
Again,
a second time for Laxing and Foxy to turn the tides against their opponents. Impressive stuff from them to be able to make that work. It came in round number 5 of the very first map, but they do it on the second round here on Cafe. The Mozzie dropped thinking that they had Laxing caught, but no, and Hot and Cold's patience was a little bit too much as Foxy perfectly wrapped around. This is a bit strange, though, that default cam was up for as long as it was. They knew the positioning of OXG, but the same thing happened again. DZ was a little too patient. I know the strategy they were going for. Mint was going to try to slow them down and watch the flank while Hot and Cold was positioned, if the time hit 0, to be able to stop somebody planting default. Laxing very smartly doesn't plant default. He plants in the middle of the plume of smoke. And Hot and Cold doesn't bother to spray in that direction because he doesn't think that anybody would just plant exposed in the open that way. Doesn't work out for them. Mint gets caught from the back by Foxy, and a 3v2 very quickly becomes a 1v2. Troubling situation for Dark Zero, who, like I said on Concept, were just too patient, and it ends up biting them. So, we'll go downstairs to Kitchen. We'll see if, we'll see what'll happen with this hard breach system. Apologies for what appears to be going on the transmission. I think, are you seeing it as well, Michael?
The constant jump cutting?
Yeah, it's really, really choppy.
Yeah.
And this, it's Sao Paulo season 6 flashbacks.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that was the was that the first LAN we worked together in the first finals we did?
It's my first esports event ever, actually.
Oh wow, what a throwback! Oh,
yeah,
boy.
because Michael, I wasn't a nerd before then.
Wow, I mean, all right then. Early engagement for Hot and Cold. He'll get Foxney, who just runs into the building. Not enough information there. Hot and Cold just pushed himself into Kochek to get that frag. That's it. And yeah, the choppiness will continue, but luckily, if you take a look at the top right, that appears to be on our production side, because if it were on the server side, on the top right, you'd see flashing red marks, signifying that the server is struggling. So at least the players are not struggling right now. This should be working out fine for them, or at least that's my assessment based on what we're seeing right now. So don't stress about that at least. Just worry about your own viewing experience. Eclipse is going to be challenging over towards the front door. He's got support from Hyper, but they will just mellow out for now, knowing they have the man advantage in play time.
You can hear those track stingers going off. What does she say? Sharper than a box jellyfish or something like that. Of course, very on brand for Australia, the land where every animal has health bars and tries to kill you. So it looked like Laxing and Eclipse were going to engage, but Eclipse just manages to move around it. Nobody takes any damage here, and Eclipse is now going to watch towards the back as that small opening inside of the wall in the kitchen created by Slash gets flashed out. Vertical one for his team, Eclipse another. So they go up, manage to sacrifice bodies. Slash takes out Eclipse, and with Laxing by his side, they're looking for another play onto DZ. Down over by VIP. Hot and Cold inside of the bomb site. He sees the silhouette of the Ash of Vertical, and he looks the wrong way. The FMG should be able to do lots of damage, but Vertical holds off for now.
There is still time for this attack, but as they lose Vertical inside of Prep, that's going to really hurt their odds. Though Laxing will get mint, Hyper is also off site, so really it's on Hot and Cold to hold the site, and on Laxing to manage to work his way in. He knows there's one on red, addresses it, but misses the shot. The bar's working against Laxing there. Lots of HP lost as well. Sees the head, and misses that shot as well. C4 will land, and Dark Zero will take the round.
Yeah, pretty good stuff there, and honestly, you have to wonder how much of Fox's early aggression comes back to hurt them, because a sledge can be so useful on that second floor, and you had no real soft destruction to think of. Yeah, you have the super shorty in the hands of Laxing, but Laxing is not usually playing that style. He's not going to be doing the soft destruction work. He's not going to be covering from that angle. Laxing is likely going to be off on somewhere on his own. He's going to be coming in for a late flank to catch you off guard and try to isolate anybody who is also off site, which is why he's playing this gridlock role. I mentioned it in the very first round when Warden was trotted out from Dark Zero, and Laxing is going to continue to play gridlock because the F90 is a strong gun and she's got a pretty decent kit and synergizes well with the way that he plays, which is that lone wolf style, roam on his own, entry on his own, unsupported style of play. But Foxay coming in as Sledge, rushing through the door and dying for nothing. No trade, doesn't waste any time. That's rough, because if you look where the bomb site is, a Sledge is going to put a lot of focus on the dining room, which is where the A bomb site is right now. They're going to put a lot of focus on Train, which is to the left of the bomb site. So just down below that, there you go. And that's exactly what Sledge does, and it's going to make life very uncomfortable for the members of Dark Zero that are playing in the bomb site, whether it be the smoke that we saw of Hot and Cold, who was nestled in there waiting for Vertical to push out. DZ wouldn't have been able to sit comfortably, and they would have had to get a bit restless, and they might have been pushed right into the line of sight of OXG. So that one kill alone was the first domino falling for OXG on that round.
This is looking like one of the most standard setups we've seen in a while. Of course, the Mira to augment is going to make it ever so slightly different. But it's your really bog standard default setup on reading and dining. Just a cocktail roam upstairs, nothing else really. Mirror window to assist. And we'll see how Oxygen address this. I'm sure they'll have a refined execution plan for this site, just because we've seen it so many times set up in this way. Vertical going to be entering in through Cigar. Hyper looking to flank when the opportunity presents itself. Right now there is no flank. Gridlock, there is no flank. Drone. So Hyper does actually have an opportunity right now, whether he knows it or not. He's just not going for it just yet. He'll retreat back to the site, actually. Not going to go for it at all in the end, as the drone finally gets set up on the flank from Slash. Oxygen trying to clear the top floor still. Breach charges used to good effect to push out bathroom and back bar storage. They'll have to confront some reinforced walls, though, before they can actually address the roamers themselves, playing by pallets and in cocktail. That's Mint and Eclipse.
And Eclipse gets droned out, and right on the window is none other than the sledge of Foxay. He's got grenades that might be able to prove their worth. Down goes Vertical, the opening pick for DZ yet again, and Mint playing off of this Miro window with an ADS in front of it and a Mute Jammer. Could prove to be a lot to work through for OXG. Slash would be the one to take care of it. They'd have to get rid of that Mute Jammer first. As the Thatcher had been on the board for OXG, his absence will hurt this team. Bio has switched off onto the Zofia for maybe some more destructive and disruption that could come with it. But what it also means is that Mint doesn't need to sweat anything. And that Miro window, unless there's any play from below, will likely stay in this spot no matter how good Slash is at his job with Hard Breach. So OXG have found themselves in a bit of a pickle here. Never discount their ability to frag, but the strategy that they're going to need to employ is particularly tough. There's a lot of confidence from Laxing as he seems to spot one over by the fireplace. Another kill from DZ comes in, and Laxing will get one. He twists and turns as DZ finds 2 kills to Laxing's single. This is a 4v2. Oh no. It's Foxay and Laxing yet again for OXG. The same numbers as before, but a lot less time. Only 30 seconds to go, and exposed to the mirror window is Laxing. He tries to take the engagement. Down he goes to Skies and Foxay. In a 1v4, looks like we might see the clock strike midnight. Foxay finds 1 kill, but with 10 seconds left, he's got 3 to go, and DZ will play the keep away game. Foxay inside of Laundry. He can't bother to get to it. Diffuser upstairs. He knows that. He has to go for kills. He's going to run right into the waiting arms of Skies. No miracle this time. 2 times a charm, but not the third. DZ tightens things up, and they're up 3-1.
Strategically, that round was really cut and dry. There really wasn't actually a lot to talk about. Essentially, what happened there was Dark Zero roamed inside of Cocktail and by pallets up on the top floor, and they didn't retreat. Oxygen attempted to address those roamers upstairs and failed. Instead of fully clearing out the top floor, Oxygen rotated down to, I guess, clear horizontally on the middle floor and attempt to address the site directly. Actually, they didn't do great on that either. They left a Malusi by Red Hall, not a smoke, somebody playing inside of trains. There was a whole flank for Oxygen that they hadn't cleared out before executing onto the site. And all the while, they're trying to execute onto that site. Oxygen is losing man count. They're losing presence. They're also trying to push in through reading. It's just not working out. Well, all that said, don't forget, guys and gals, you can pick up the pro skins in the esports tab in the shop for Rainbow Six and directly support the teams as well as just Rainbow Six esports in general. And if you're tight on funds right now, don't forget as well, Veli is doing a giveaway for the TSM bundle. All you need to do to participate is use the hashtag R6NAL and tag R6EsportsNA with the stream link for this channel, and you can go ahead and enter into that giveaway if you should so choose. TSM bundle is one of the best ones, so I think it's definitely worth your time.
Not that we're playing favorites, of course. There are a couple in NA that I think look pretty nice. Though SSG being on Ella actually did kind of confuse me because...
Me too.
I mean, Ella's not really played all that much anymore. Unless they know something about the old Ella returning.
Oh gosh, I hope not. I really hope not.
Michael, it was a joke, Michael.
I know, but I don't even want to have that thought in my head, Parker.
Okay, my bad.
It's daunting and depressing.
I just want to let you know, though, by the way, that if you win Veli's giveaway, that you're also supporting a man who just shared a picture of eggnog on the Twitter feed. So you let that sit with your conscience, okay?
You don't like eggnog?
Eggnog is something that I go back and forth on, but as of this exact moment, it is dreadful gack. So
what a shot
from Vertical. By the way, the opposite of eggnog is he's great. Takes out Eclipse, and OXG get that opening pick on round number 5. Vertical will now go back onto drones, and it will force DZ to move one of their chess pieces over towards Christmas.
What if he likes eggnog, Parker? What if Vertical's into eggnog?
Well, then that's fine by me.
Foxay will get one, Vertical his second, and it looks like Oxygen is going for the, as you like to say, Parker, full court press. Mint will get one with the C4. Laxing shuts down Skies and backbar storage, and now it's all on Mint. He won't even get a second. Biologic shuts him down as he attempts to retake pallets, and Oxygen win it all on a straight walk into site execute.
So they made that round happen in a hurry, presumably because there was no sound present, and Oxygen is calling for a rehost. Now, Michael, if I may, with that round, I would like to actually turn to our analyst, Bacon. He happens to be the, I believe, the content manager for Dark Zero, and he actually summed up that round roughly 40 minutes ago with a tweet that he made, and I can read it. OXD legit just throws bodies at people. And that's the whole round right there. So thank you very much, Bacon, for providing us with your world-class commentary for that particular round. Yes, we could clap for Bacon, just so that everybody knows that obviously he might not be a coach anymore and he might not be as particularly hands-on with Rainbow Six, but at least he's still capable of predicting the future.
So is he the prognosticator in chief now, Parker?
He's something in chief, I'll tell you that much.
But yeah, no, he was right. That round was basically, you could sum up by just Oxygen dumped their utility in, pushed, won their gunfights. That is a great summary of that round, and it's actually been a summary of many of these rounds that we've been seeing from Oxygen on Consulate and now on Cafe. Oxygen are very good in that scenario, though. I think that's the one thing to keep in mind. I think Bacon maybe meant it as a slight critique, but when Oxygen is in that kind of scenario where it's throw bodies at the problem, they tend to synergize very well. They tend to frag out. They certainly did in that round. It got them the win that they wanted. So it is a part of Oxygen's play style, and it doesn't define them. They're plenty capable of doing other things. But when executed correctly, Oxygen can really turn that into a win, as they did just now. Now, we are trying to get everybody back into the lobby. We'll get started as soon as we can, but we're just on a short break here while everything gets sorted.
That round in particular is hard to break down because it was over before it started. Oxygen was attacking on a Cocktail. It was the bomb site that we don't see used all that often. DZ won it on the very first round on a pretty well-structured hold that involved the Warden playing inside of Christmas or Piano, depending on what you want to call it. I've unfortunately been listening to too much Stokes, which is always a problem.
What do you call it?
I call it Piano. He calls it Christmas.
Yeah, my calls in Piano are Ticket for the minibar, Christmas where the tree is, Piano or Stage where the stage is, Couches where the couches are, Pixel in the corner, and then Drop if they're somewhere like by the chairs in the drop.
Hold on a second. I'm looking where I asked.
Hey, you know what? We've got a lot of time to fill, and I'm just trying to be helpful.
Here.
Just trying to educate masses.
It's on here. You know what would be really great if there was like a standardized.
I'm working on it.
Okay,
we're getting there.
We can. I mean, it's hard to break down that round in particular, so we can turn to our favorite stalling, which is what I talked about on Consulate, which is Chalet. We can talk about Chalet's possible entry to the competitive map pool. Do you think, Michael Stockley, that Chalet is a good enough map to be played over one of the maps that are currently in the map pool?
I think it could be. Yes. I don't know which map I would personally want to replace. Maybe
Consulate.
Maybe Coastline, maybe Consulate. Probably Coastline for North America at least. It's one of the least played maps right now. Consulate is being played frequently, and I personally would like to get it out, but I don't know if the teams would agree with me on that one, so it's hard to say. Anyway, I think it's got a lot of depth. My assessment of Consulate, or sorry, got me saying it now. My assessment of Chalet is that it has not been fully explored yet, and that it, at first, really rubs the wrong way. I think it's an extremely different map. And my initial impression is negative, but I will say that many of the sites, there are some really fun and clever setups that you can bring out that will make attacking or defending different round by round. So since it has that depth, there is potential for it to be a comp map, because as soon as a team starts exploring it and winning against other teams on it, it'll get further exploited by other teams and embraced by the competitive community. Though I don't know if that's going to happen because of the initial negative impression by not everyone, but many people.
Every new map is hated by the community right off the rip, because like everybody, when a new map shows up, you don't know it and you get farmed like a bot, and it hurts your feelings, your fifis, TM as they are referred to as, And then you don't like the map because you do poorly because you don't know how to play it and you don't know what the whole idea behind it is, the whole synergy, you know, etc. So you don't know the flow of the map. You have some struggles. You don't like it. You know, I remember back in the day, I started casting when Coastline debuted. I started playing this game in Red Crow when Skyscraper showed up, and then shortly thereafter it was Bartlett. And then Coastline debuts with Velvet Shell. My first cast was during Velvet Shell. Not only did people really dislike Coastline, we were still at the period of time where people didn't like Border either. There was a period of time where people didn't like Border, and it took them a while to warm up to Border. It was right at the tail end. I do think that the addition of Favela and the addition of Skyscraper kind of made people like Border a little bit more. But there, at the time, then it took a while for Coastline to be seen as a map that people liked. And I remember lots of negative comments about Coastline as a map when we were casting the SI Finals at the start of 2018. So it stands to reason that teams are going to take a little while to be able to warm up to it. I mean, Theme Park was a reviled map. I think the general consensus is with the reworked Theme Park is that it is significantly better. I am bummed that we don't see it get casted more. I would like to cast it more. But it's still getting a bit of time to warm up, or at least teams are taking some time to warm up to it. So I like Chalet. I will say this was very critical of the old Chalet. I hated the old Chalet, actually, and I hate the current Skyscraper. I am excited for the new Skyscraper. I don't know what it's going to look like. Wow. Okay. Speaking of, we'll turn our sights here now. Skies gets the leadoff pick onto Foxy. I like to think I gave him a little bit of magic here because the first ace that I ever got when I was playing this game, Michael, was Capkin on Skyscraper. I was playing Hostage. It was like my second day ever playing the game. So you're welcome, Skies.
Yeah. Way to go, Skies. Harnessing,
don't take this from me.
Harnessing Parker's energy.
Thank you for giving me credit for that. I need this.
So, with that leadoff frag, DZ are in the man advantage here, and they're poised to end this half 4-2 in favor. That's really good. It is what you'd expect from a defensive team on Cafe, of course. This map, so far through this stage 2 of the US division, has a 54% defensive win rate. So it's not as defender-sided as it used to be. You know, this used to be up in the 60%, even further sometimes. But it is still defender-sided ever so slightly. So Dark Zero, happy with that result, I'm sure. Now, it's not done yet. As we've talked about, as long as... Oh, yeah, actually, I was going to say as long as Laxing is Foxay are still alive. But, okay, well, as long as Oxygen's got players on the board, there's always a chance.
As long as at least one of them is alive.
Yes. And Laxing has been statistically the, by far and away, top performer for Oxygen. So, yeah, keep an eye on him. Maybe he'll have a big round here.
Foxay has been maybe following Laxing in terms of kills and overshadowed by him, but I would say that Foxay's importance for the team has been much larger than Laxing. Laxing always does play this style of gameplay that we refer to as odd, lone wolf, whatever you want to call it, independent.
Lurker?
Lurker role, I think, is the best way of putting it. We don't call them lurkers, we call them roamers, but Laxing lurks whether he's roaming or not.
I would like to specify the distinction. There is a distinction between lurkers and roamers, but I'll get to that later. Right now, we got action.
Yeah, and 45 seconds left is the perfect time to see OXG try to attempt something here. Both Slash and Vertical were inside a freezer, and they'll be stopped cold in their tracks from none other than Mint. Kyle Lander with the UMP in hand takes out both of them. OXG with Bio and Laxing. Now, can Bio be the Foxay substitute for Laxing? Well, Laxing gets one pick. That's the very first one. It'll break the flawless round that DZ had going on. Bio taking some damage from what appeared to be the Warden playing over by VIP. Bio will make his way out of freezer. Turns and twists, misses his shot on Sky. Sky started things off with a kill. He shuts down Bio, leaving Laxing with 10 seconds left. Impactless kills, maybe. We'll see. He gets trapped in the barbed wire on the stairs, and Eclipse finishes the job. The first half is in the books, and DZ's up 4-2. They're only 3 rounds away from being able to stop this match and give themselves a 2-0 victory.
All right, so that round started off really poor, as I'm sure you all will note, thanks to Parker's efforts, giving Skies the energy to spawn peek on bus stop window. After getting that kill, DZ in a good spot, they get a little bit patient, and Oxygen, what they're trying to do is clear out the building. They do that, Top floor is cleared. Job done. Okay. Turn our focus now to executing on the site. And problems start to arise from there. Dark Zero is very lethal when it comes to the engagements in that round, and most importantly, they were playing far back away from the point of focus for Oxygen. Oxygen wanted to get control of Freezer. They did that, but as they tried to push out of Freezer, not only were they losing their gunfights on that push because DZ was set up to meet them on the Freezer bottlenecks, that's the window and the door, but also, I mean, heck, Oxygen is hitting Kapkan traps and losing chunks of HP as they attempt to run out of Freezer. So everything's going wrong there for Oxygen from the start to the finish. And yeah, Dark Zero take the half quite handily. 4-2, great scoreline. Now Oxygen gets their defensive half, and this might be really good for them. We could see this go all the way to Oxygen winning out, but no need for OT. It's definitely possible, but we'll wait before we call that. We're not quite there yet. Oh, did you want to talk about roamers and lurkers, or?
I mean, it's a term that is used in a variety of different games. Lurkers are the role of somebody who's playing off on their own, not particularly engaged with their team. They lurk and wait. And I actually think they refer to them as lurkers in Brazil, by the way. I don't know if they call them roamers in Brazil, because I've seen a couple promotional videos where they definitely seem to call them lurkers. But for us, there is a distinction that is enough of a difference. And the difference is that you can roam but still be supporting your team, or at least be in a position where your team is supporting you. Lurking is usually a specific focus of a roamer, or a second entry, or a late entry, or a flank, etc.
Yeah.
So
for me, it's like usually... Go ahead.
I was going to say, very similar to loggers and pilsners. Not all roamers are lurkers, but all lurkers are roamers.
Okay. I mean, of course, except for the ones on attack.
Right. But I mean, you knew what I was. You knew what I was.
I know what you meant. I knew what you meant.
You knew what I meant.
So the glass is working.
Embarrass me on live TV.
Skies lands the nade onto vertical, and he'll go down. His glasses can't save him from that. That's thanks to good clear there of the utility and a well-timed, well-cooked nade from Skies. So pixel control established for DZ. Min will get into Cigar. Foxy is actually still in the Humidor, and he is spotted out. Min will do a lot of damage, and Hyper will finish him off. DZ is picking off one defender after another. This is working out very well for them so far, just taking all of the fights that are presented to them. And Oxygen are certainly struggling with this extension. A great pick there from Bio, though, as he catches Hyper on the cross. Bio and Oxygen really needed that one.
I think this is his third kill so far in this matchup, and it comes at a pretty good time. It's the first stab to the chest for Dark Zero. They've got a couple more that they could potentially continue to find, as Dark Zero will look to push in on this cocktail defense. 40 seconds remaining. Laxing down below. He's got a nitro cell. He's the only plant denial other than the Maestro cameras that's present on OXG's lineup. Hot and Cold is pretty adept at being able to get that diffuser down, so you have to imagine that there will be quite a lot of focus for OXG to try and stop that in its tracks. A second kill from Bio with Laxing finding the scoreboard, but Bio gets punished for it. Laxing down below in a 1v2, but he's got a nitro cell that's already been used, so he's not going to be able to put much to work. He'll have to ascend the stairs, and as a 3 armor, he'll make a ton of noise. The AUG dragged across the scene of the crime as the bomb will be, or the diffuser will be planted near the bomb for Hot and Cold. 1 HP, and he gets stopped in the back of the bar from Skies. 5 rounds on the board for Dark Zero. They're only 2 away.
That was great execution there from DZ. Most of the success, I think, stems from those early picks that you guys all saw, and those nades, or the nade actually, into Pixel. Warden doesn't have nade resistance, unfortunately. And then the kill in the Humidor. I'm surprised that kill actually came out there. Foxy was a little bit too aggressive. Obviously, he's trying to find an opportunity. That's why he's staying in the Humidor. The drop is open, so he can retreat whenever he wants to, but he just wants to get a refrag for his teammate who died by Pixel early in the round, and that causes him to linger just a little bit too long, and thus his team to languish. So 3v5 now, still winnable for Oxygen. Biologic is picking up frags. He's starting to get steam, and that's fantastic to see. But ultimately, DZ, when they put their foot down on the gas, they did not relent. And while we did see some impressive stuff, not only Biologic, but also Oxygen as a whole, on that push into the site, it just wasn't enough in the end. Dark Zero, they're getting very close to locking this series out much swifter than I think most would have forecasted.
Down to Kitchen they'll go. And well, we're still in a position where Cafe is a defender-friendly map.
Yeah.
It's very friendly. Very... Sorry, can I help? Can I help you?
Greets you at the door with hot cocoa.
Mm-hmm. Lend me some sugar. I am your neighbor. That is Cafe personified.
I don't... is that a reference? I don't...
Oh my goodness. Yes, that is a reference.
Didn't get that
Yeah,
one.
thank you. Even production said, oh my goodness, that you didn't get that one, Michael.
Is it like an old
It's from Outcast.
person reference?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, Michael, we'll discuss this offline. Anyway, there will be certain people in the audience who will get that, aka people who are old enough to remember that song. So
I'm sorry.
it was... God, that song was so long ago. Anyway. Oh man, Vertical gets pushed out of red as they sledge open the hatch, and then Vertical was going for a pick. He manages to disappear, and so now too does Laxing. Hyper's aggressive play will net another, and there is 50 seconds expired from this round, and it is Biologic in a 1v5. So this is the best opportunity for Bio to pad his stats here, and if he can't do that, then it'll be a flawless round for DZ. Bio will trudge back into Kitchen, watching the freezer panel that had been opened earlier. DZ have all the time in the world to make this one happen. And they'll drone out Bio. Both Mint and Hot and Cold's drones will see him. Now Eclipse will have one in there, and so much information on Bio's position inside of the Kitchen. He's gone. That's a flawless round. Match point Dark Zero.
Well. So, Dark Zero clearing out the top 2 floors. What they want to do is open up above. This is standard fare. Oxygen attempt to roam, fail miserably, and lose their entire team. Remember, this is the flip side of the coin. Remember when Oxygen was throwing all their bodies up on the top floor? That round was the flip side of that coin. When Oxygen throws all their bodies at a problem and it doesn't work, complete catastrophe. So, yeah, nothing Bio could have done there. Not his fault. Dark Zero now match point, series point as well. They're looking to go ahead and lock this one out, and yeah, we'll see if Oxygen can change the flow there. They're going to be bringing a Mute Mozzie to try and gather or deny the drones upstairs. They'll bring a Pulse to give themselves information. Pulse has been pretty prevalent throughout this series, not just on Cafe, but also on Consulate, so it's been a good tool for Oxygen so far. Hopefully, for Oxygen's sake and their fans' sake, it'll be a good tool in this round, because this is looking a lot more one-sided than Consulate did.
Well, back down to Kitchen they go. Will it do anything? We don't really know. That was a swift one. It almost kind of feels like, since the rehost, Oxygen's effort in this matchup has faltered a little bit. It is for seeding purposes.
Yeah, but it's also like, say, ooh, #1 in an A for Stage 2 of the U.S. Division. Season 1.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. How well did that treat SSG at the mini-major?
Yeah, it's really all just...
That's not even intended as a burn. That's sincere. I mean,
it's true.
Michael, the #1 spot matters so much. Just look at Rogue and EU.
That's actually true, though. That's because that actually saved them, so...
Kind of.
Yeah. I mean,
also to our friends from Europe who are watching, or those from North America that didn't get to see the EU broadcast earlier today, the auto relegation spot in Europe was decided, and we had to say goodbye to Chaos Esports Club. Michael, I was notoriously hard on them for being a team that never seemed to meet their potential and always kind of inhabited that 5th, 6th, 7th place spot in Europe. And now, unfortunately, they went from bad to worse. And they got relegated today, and, well, Chaos will not be in the EU League next stage / next season, depending on how you quantify it.
Yeah, I mean, both are technically correct, so...
It's kind of a bummer, to be honest. I always liked casting Chaos. Renewals and Secretly are two of the oldest players in the scene in terms of experience, and, well, it's going to be weird to not see them.
It will certainly be, yeah. And, well, we'll see if they can bounce back or what happens, what comes of those players moving forward.
Anyway,
Right here,
we got a match to play here, yeah.
Yeah, we've got opening up from above for DZ. This time, Oxygen does not confront the roam clear. Instead, they are opting to focus on survival, playing their life, as players like to say. Skies will get Slash, so Slash not able to play his life in this round, and that's one of your key information gatherers gone, as well as a C4 and a formidable player. DZ is coming down to the last minute, but they've still got the man advantage. They've got the control above. They're opening up even more, and they seem slated to win this round. We'll see.
And no Spencer Oliver, the man so nice, they named him twice. Hot and Cold breaks into Freezer as they drop down a number of flashes. Hyper will cover as there goes yet another flash to try and stop maybe the Banshee gadgets. And Vertical takes the fight himself. 2 picks on the Hyper, and Hot and Cold pistol out. There was a third in his line of sight, but he'll have to fight for that as he sits on top of the diffuser and will force DZ to be aggressive to retake all that ground. Eclipse on Brownstairs. He finds one. There's another not too far off. He's going to need to look to the left as he gives his position away. If he can't draw him out, this will be tough. Wrong side of the wall. You're going to get snuck up on. There you go. Laxing grabs it in a second for him. OXG really coming alive at the moment. Skies, who'd killed Slash first, he gets shut down in Freezer, and OXG is going to prolong this match. There is a comeback possible. They're going to need to go perfect for the remainder of regulation as they're 3 rounds off of overtime. It's still match point for DZ and will be for the remainder of regulation.
Another great example of just throwing bodies at the problem. What really happened there? DZ lost control of their angles and allowed the push from Vertical to meet success. Got 3 kills in that round, just retaking into Freezer. Laxing, it's the same story. What's he doing, really? He creeps up on Whiskey Bar and gets 2 kills. Why? Once again, Dark Zero lost control of their angles, not checking for every potential push, and they get punished by the ones that Oxygen pull out. So, as you said, prolonging the map. We could see this go to OT. Oxygen is certainly capable of bringing it all the way, but now Oxygen will have to go on to reading. No more kitchen to defend. We'll see how they fare here. They're not going to be bringing the Miro to this site. They're going to keep the Warden. Wonder if they'll be playing by Pixel. We'll see how they play this one. Definitely going to be at least a cocktail roam as is standard on this site. They're already setting that up right now. Given that they're reinforcing the advanced back bar and bathroom walls instead of just the White Hall walls, that suggests to me that they might try to delay further up west side on the top floor, though they are not committed to that role. The reason they're reinforcing those walls is because you can place some really nice Cades down below. I'm sure that's probably what's going on here, and those Cades are really hard to get, even though technically Thatcher's in play. He's not being brought, so they're really hard to get, and it might be a pain for the hard destructors. We'll see. The Maverick will be able to chew it if it's necessary, but it all depends on how DZ chooses to address this bomb site.
They'll likely start on that top floor, the 3rd floor, and then take the cocktail area and push down. The 2 obstacles will be both Foxay and Slash. Vertical's in there as well, actually. Didn't see his icon right at the start. The Warden will be playing back inside a cocktail. Fox has a rotate to help Vertical if required in that back bar. DZ have already entered over by Red as well and now have a freer access to Piano. Ticket, as he referred to that spot as.
It's just like one of the micro spots in Piano. Yeah.
2 drones scoot on by, and Slash's position will be known now as he fired away and wasn't able to hit anybody from Dark Zero. He's going to play behind this deployable shield, and if there's any ADSs in the way, which I would assume there are since Vertical is playing in the back bar and likely has some tools nearby, then that means that Slash will be in a pretty strong spot and he'll be able to burn through some of those projectiles from DZ.
Slash has got the 1.5 to challenge this long angle. West Repel, or sorry, pardon me, East Repel for DZ was a factor there, but they've gotten off of it. Dark Zero seems to be encircling these top floor roamers. There are 3 of them. And clearly the focus right now is for the top floor, but they are shifting a little bit down into train now that they know that dining is sparsely defended. There is potential for an execution exclusively into dining where the attackers on the, or rather the defenders on the top floor are unable to influence the outcome of the round. But that potential dwindles as you lose players like that. Slash inside of pillars will get one, and he'll continue to contest this after he dropped knowing the attack was rotating. Foxay will be refragged on by Skies. That's great. So DZ are still in this round, but the presence of Slash and pillars could be their undoing in the end.
And I don't think they know that Slash is now posted up. I mean, they're very obviously looking for him, but he's going to do some damage before they drag him down, just as Vertical will disguise. And once again, OXG takes that advantage. Mint playing around as best as he can on the west side of that second floor, cannot land his shots. So for now, Slash's best job on the board is the clock. Yeah, he got an early pick, but he's wasting so much time and presents a formidable opponent that DZ will have to cut through before they'll be able to pressure the bomb site. Hot and Cold sustaining some damage, and DZ have lost control of the tempo of this round, so Eclipse will have to drop. He manages to get one, but OXG dominates the kill feed and will finish it off with Bio's hands as Eclipse is down for the count. 2 in a row from Oxygen. They're beginning to close this one. There's still 2 rounds remaining for DZ to be able to push this one over, but OT is looking more and more likely the longer we go on.
Interesting. Okay, so Dark Zero attempted to clear top floor. Someone made a shot call. Let's not bother with it. So Dark Zero rotates downstairs. But Oxygen catches that rotation and forces some defenders on the top floor down to confront the rotation from DZ. The confrontation sways to the favor of Oxygen. More importantly, Pillars control, maintained by Oxygen, prevents DZ from getting Pillars control and thus pushing into reading, or at least cutting off the reading defenders who would deny a push in through dining. So, to be clear, a good call by DZ, not swiftly enough executed. Oxygen reading that call, the rotation off top floor perfectly, and specifically Slash holding control of Pillars. That was huge. Also, Vertical picked up a 3-piece. So, you know, credit where credit's due. We didn't actually see where it happened, but he was the one picking up the frags and solidifying the round. No matter what, though, good reading from Oxygen. Dark Zero. Need to see them change some things up as they now attempt an attack on the top floor.
Interesting bomb site. I mean, that's what happens when you finish this rotation. The only other bomb site that was available for OXG, obviously, was that mining and dining bomb site, as we refer to it as. Cocktail has seen quite a bit of play in this matchup. This is the 4th time that we've seen the bomb site so far, which is not anywhere near as common in other matchups. So I don't know if things are changing. I don't know if Warden has allowed teams to play it differently. I don't know if the setup inside a bathroom with the deployable shield has made it a little bit more viable for the defenders. We've seen Goyos play in that spot. We've seen Mutes play off of that spot, Wamais and Warden in particular. So who knows? Things could be steadily changing. And even though we are in that utility soak meta where the defenders bring lots of bulletproof gadgets that the attackers need to respond with by doubling, tripling, quadrupling up on explosives, there is still some chances that we could see the meta slowly shift maybe towards other operators. And Warden's still good for utility soaks. That's why we've seen his pick rate continue to go up. Obviously, Warden is absent here, but you've got plenty of utility soak from all the operators on the board.
Roam clear attempted downstairs. Foxay, the roamer, will be droned out, called out. His retreat down to Brownstairs will be caught, but he will not die. That is a poor cutoff there, I believe, by Mint. Still potential to cut him off, though, as he's just inside of coat check. So it looks like DZ wants to confront this. Mint will be doing so directly. Sky's there to assist, and there he is. Finally finished off with Hot and Cold, the 3rd player to try and hunt down Foxay. So job done. Men count lead established. Dark Zero, firm control. But at the expense of top floor pressure. As you can see, Dark Zero has yet to actually take control of top red or Cigar. There's only a minute left in this round. Laxing will even drop on Disguise, making matters worse for Dark Zero. There might be a refrag in play here, but Laxing is continuing to waste time. So it might be all for naught if Dark Zero doesn't shift their focus to the site.
Laxing was in a position where both Mint and Hyper were going to engage at different times, which could have served Laxing quite well. There goes a Goyo shield, and Mint taken down as it explodes right in front of Hot and Cold's very eyes. The fire will spread, and more time being eaten up now by Oxygen, who have really tightened things up. You're still within the play of winning this one. Bio finds his second kill. The Nomad sprints on in. Bio's third kill is there. He's still in play. He continued to do good work, and look at that. The moment that Bio comes alive for this team, the fortunes of OXG begin to rise very quickly. Eclipse, only 15 seconds left. Tough prospect. He takes down Biologic. He knows he's got another one over by Cocktail of the Goyo, so he rushes on in, but he pops up at the wrong time, and Slash finishes him off. A perfect cycle for OXG, and we're in round 12 to settle this one.
Well, unexpected comeback here from Oxygen. They looked a little bit asleep for a while there, but they are proving their worth, and as you mentioned, Biologic in particular really coming alive in this map. It's great to see from him. We needed to see that kind of performance, and as you said, has changed the fortunes of Oxygen as a whole. That last round mostly comes down to what I was talking about in the middle of the round. Dark Zero put so much effort and focus into hunting Foxay downstairs that they lost out on everything else that they're supposed to do to address a top floor defense. There were 3 or 4 people hunting Foxay. They spent 2 minutes doing it. And ultimately, it didn't really matter because the Melusi dropped from top floor and managed to get Skies, bringing the man count even. And then, to add insult to injury, they couldn't get the Melusi, who lingered inside of reading. So, Dark Zero struggling, that's for sure, with the roam clear, and more importantly, not having enough time or commitment on the actual take into the site. Now it's going to a kitchen defense for what could be still the final round of the series, or could be what launches us into an overtime, or maybe even a map 3.
Clubhouse, that would be an interesting one.
It certainly would be.
We'll see if we get there. I don't know if we will. I mean, it's a bit of a different situation than we were in on map number 1, where it was DZ in pretty firm control, and they were much better on the second half. Now it's been OXGs, and I feel like I jinxed it with the caster curse, Michael. I said that, well, it kind of looks like OXG are just ready to get this one done. You know, after the rehost, they didn't really seem like they were trying all that much, and now they've been trying pretty damn hard, and it's working out very effectively. And, well, Slash almost forfeits his life. Manages to get back into the bomb site. As you can see from OXG, there's no dock on the board, so Slash is going to stay at that HP. A later setup, as teams like to do on this kitchen bomb site, because there's 2 different ways that we see attackers go at it. They can either attempt to push in through Bakery, which is where DZ seems quite focused on, or they can go through Freezer and the back part of the map, including over by the doorway to kitchen that's right next to Whiskey. DZ's focus is entirely on the front. Now, here's a problem for them. If there's a man that's going to take advantage of you not having proper flank watch, it's Laxing. Eclipse is Nomad, so you've got some built-in flank watch, but in the middle of an execute, Laxing can show up out of nowhere and punish you, and he seems very poised to do so over in Coat Check.
He's got the angle through the wall that he's extending now as much as he can with that Roni, but he'll actually rotate as Slash gets downed deep by Bunker, it seems, on a long angle play through the breach. It's a great down, but Slash should be recovered, so not the end of the world for Oxygen, though it could be the beginning of the end in this series. No kills yet for either team. Patience here for Dark Zero. They get the information they need. They now know that there is no one inside of the A bomb site. Most importantly, the only indirect denial of a plant right now for the defense is the C4. And the direct denial that Oxygen has set up above 2 roamers on the top floor with holes, able to deny the plant. So as we get closer to the end of this round, things are getting more dangerous for DZ since they haven't cleared out that top floor presence.
Slash had been picked back up. He's still got the Nitro Cell, and, well, there he goes. He crosses in front of Hyper and only takes a single bullet from Hyper to be able to fell him. So far, DZ have all but one opening pick on their attack. They'll find a second pick. Biologic now in the line of sight. Foxy taking some damage. Hot and Cold going for the plant. 20 seconds left. OXG will have to stop this. But they're standing pat for now. They don't seem to know, and Hot and Cold's going to get away with murder as the diffuser goes down. Clock will start to tick on OXG, will have to retake, but they're finding themselves in the line of sight as Oxygen now losing HP from Laxing. There goes Biologic. It's Foxy and Laxing yet again. They've been so good together, and Laxing will start things off. But no, Foxy punished from the back. Mint finds that kill, and it's Laxing in a 1v4. He'll get shot from the side. No coverage all the way down to Brown Bar, and Skies will give DZ the win. 2 maps to nothing.
An impressive feat there for Dark Zero, taking it quite handedly, but it was a valiant effort put up by Oxygen, that's for sure. However, Dark Zero secure first place in the US division for seeding, and well, for stage 2, they can call themselves number 1.
And Skies broke double digits after the rehost. He was doing all right on the first half. He was, to me, the MVP for this squad today. He really showed how strong he can be. And I mean, he's doing so on roles where you expect him to excel on the kill feed. And excel he did. So Oxygen come up very close. The good thing for OXG fans is that all 12 rounds were needed on both maps. And like we said, if Bio got off to a better start on Consulate, maybe overtime happens, maybe it's a completely different result. We don't really know. But with that said, that's the matchup. Your number 1 team heading into the major is the team that won the major just a couple months ago. Will they repeat? We got some time to figure it out. DZ, number 1 in NA. Let's throw to a break, and then the analysts, because we still have another match to go. We'll see you soon.
Kixon, Taro, for your wonderful casting in that series. Have a great evening. But man, OXG loses to Dark Zero and Cafe 7-5. It started off slow for OXG in the beginning. They battled back, but it wasn't enough. You just heard it from Intero. Dark Zero is number 1 in the US for stage 2 of the regular season. Veli and Jesse, let's roll through some of the biggest replays. That was a fun series to watch.
I mean, back to the office, right? Dark Zero, once again, number 1 in NA. We saw them win the NA Major after they were just struggling on the defensive side of things. Fast forward a few weeks later, and now they're on top of NA once again, beating, by the way, one of the hottest teams in all of NA, Oxygen, a team that beat Space Station Gaming to even get to this point, Jesse. It was remarkable, man, but unfortunately, that was it for Oxygen. They didn't have enough gas in the tank.
Yeah. I mean, Dark Zero coming out strong. They've obviously secured the best seeding going into the major. They'll be happy about that. Oxygen will get their chance to take revenge, of course, when they make it to that major. This was a bit of a weird map. You know, it looked like Oxygen were falling apart when we got to like round number 8, and they were down 6-3, and then it came up, and they managed to get 3 more in a row before eventually losing it out. A couple of weird plays, but ultimately, I think Dark Zero were the better team today. A couple mistakes from Oxygen Esports lost them this one. They should still be proud that they managed to go so close against North America's best team.
Yeah, Jesse, without question, Dark Zero was very successful in opening picks. They were killing operators that would have had a huge impact, foiling OXG's initial strategies. So why do you think they were able to do that so well? What was Dark Zero just doing right?
Yeah, I mean, so the big thing was they were getting those picks on the soft destruction, on those early defensive rounds, right? Whether they were defending on the bar bomb site on the top floor, and they were picking off the buck, or whether they were defending on kitchen, and they were able to take down that sledge. And really, the big thing here, the big constant between all those picks, was it's Fox. It's Fox going down early, time and time again, and when he's playing those super important roles, you know, it's really hard to go for the cocktail window take, which is what they did on the bar cocktail bomb site without a buck. It's really hard to go for those top-down takes without a sledge, which is, again, what they wanted to do. So I think part of it was Fox maybe playing a little bit out of position a couple of times. You know, that spawn peak, he really shouldn't have been so early to run towards the building. Maybe there should have been somebody else in front of him, somebody less important. But then some of it was just obviously Dark Zero knowing where those types of players would want to play, you know, knowing that if you're a buck, where you're going to be, if you're a sledge, where you're going to be, and focusing those kills. And I thought Dark Zero did a great job at that. Those early picks really did help them in the early part of this map to get a lot of those defensive rounds.
And we do have your statistics up right
now.
0-4
for
and
Fox.
Look at Skies! Yeah, it does.
Yeah, no. Literally, I just wrote that down in my notes. I was like, wow. I mean, Skies is an exceptional player. He had a standout series for sure. But you know what, Veli? Dark Zero's attack was ruthless across the board. They just really came together as a team throughout this entire series. But you thought each of these players were really shining bright on the attack. Who was sticking out to you the most? I mean, looking at the stats, Skies.
Look, Skies is fantastic. Okay, so there's a three-headed beast lineup that Dark Zero likes to use. Now, it's similar to their 100% win rate composition. The only difference is that rather than Maverick, hot and cold, he's going to be on Hibana, okay? Now, what makes this composition so deadly is you have Mint on Ashe, you have Hyper on Zofia, but also most importantly, Sledge is going to be manned by none other than Skies. Now, the way they play with this is really scary because essentially you have 3 to 4 entries if you include Hot and Cold because of his, newfound aggression as well. We all saw it, Fox A hiding in coat, and then, you have a drone come in. By the way, Dark Zero, one of the best teams when it comes to droning. There's not much you can do when Hot and Cold, Ashe manned by Mint, and maybe a Zofia lurking around there, shout out to Kicks, gunning for you in the corner. And that's pretty much why their offensive win rate is so high. I mean, that is also despite the fact that Oxygen, they've been doing pretty dang good on defense. I want to give a shout out to Bayou as well, because on Maestro, he was giving Dark Zero hell. And I fully believe that if he wasn't doing that as an anchor, Dark Zero probably would have steamrolled him when it came to that attacking side. But that's a composition I want to watch more of, because more and more as they get extremely comfortable with that lineup and that three-headed attack, I mean, this team is just so dynamic. You have Mint on Ashe, you put him on Ying, it really doesn't matter because it frees up Hyper and Skies like no other.
Yeah, and I want to touch on Skies a little bit more. I mean, really did have some impactful plays. That last round particularly, him rotating up made all the difference to kill those players up above. I just wanted, that was a really nice play that I think kind of got overshadowed, but he played fantastic in both maps tonight.
Yeah.
So, funny that you're talking about Skies, because I believe that we have our interview with him ready. Skies, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Yay! Woo! Okay, this must feel so good. You all won the August Major, and now you're the champs of the U.S. Division for Stage 2 of the regular season. So just talk to me about this journey to this point. How did you stay so focused and disciplined while facing such difficult foes?
I think the biggest thing is the E United game was our wake-up call. Like I said in the last review, everyone woke their ass up and started putting in the hard work they did in the major, and just progressed us as a team to the team we know we can be. We still want to get better. That second map, I'm not happy with at all.
Skies, I feel like you're never happy. You always want to get better, but you were undoubtedly a standout player today. I mean, 17 kills, you had lots of clutch plays. In particular, map 1, round 7, the 1v1. Just tell me what was going on in your head there when you were up against Slash. I mean, you guys were tit for tat at that point. I'm sure you were feeling a lot of pressure.
He honestly got kind of unlucky. I proned expecting him to see his feet, but he kept standing up and down, so I kind of just got really lucky that round. But you win some, you lose some. Slash probably wins that 9 times out of 10.
Oh my gosh, you're so humble. You played great, and that was one of our favorite plays. Next to the one where you and Laxing kind of had a weird exchange. I really enjoyed that one as well. But I want to talk to you about what you're thinking looking ahead and what you will be focusing on now with your team.
The focus is for the major. Like I said, the second map, we won, which is good, but the second map was not acceptable by our standards. We were up 6-2. We end up barely winning 7-5. So I think the focus is keeping the momentum and not trying to rush things and making sure everyone's set still.
All right. Well, I see that you're sporting some pink merch there, and your Dark Zero fans are probably super excited about your merch and cheering y'all on and rooting for you. Is there anything that you want to say to them?
We appreciate you guys' support, and like I said to the real ones, you're still supporting us from the bad times to now. We love and appreciate you guys, and buy the Dark Zero hoodie. Support's a great cause, and thank you guys again for your support.
All right, Skies, you go enjoy that victory, and thank you so much for speaking with us.
Appreciate it, Jackie. Have a good one.
All right, see you later, Skies. Let's bring it back to our analysts. Oh my gosh, okay, I asked him about that amazing round 7 play, and he's like, oh, I don't know, Slash would usually win that. I'm like, Skies is such a fun player. I think like we always say, like when he gets mad, you get scared, right? Like when he's like fired up, he's just absolutely lethal. But one thing I also love about him is that he is just such a perfectionist. Like we constantly hear that he's like, oh, I thought that was a bad performance on map 2, and you're just like, the man is always grinding, always trying to get better. So yeah, Veli. That, what was the show, or This Is the Way, like that is it is the Dark Zero way, 100%. But we're ready to roll into our next matchup here. Super excited about that. Also, Veli, do you want to give details about your giveaway again? Like, I just think people should know about that.
I would love to. So, first off, I love all the posts you guys put out there. In case you missed it, it's now about to be too late. Now, during the Sonics game, during the beginning, I'm going to be paying attention, but I'm going to choose a winner. The winner will win either the TSM bundle or any bundle of their choice. And it's all about how you promoted the games today, you know, just putting awareness out there. So I want to thank everyone. My mentions are honestly a mess. I can't wait to look through this hashtag. It's going to take me all day. But the winner will be chosen today, and I will announce it during the end of the stream. So good luck.
Okay, so you definitely want to stick around for that, folks. And also, big matchup here. Really excited about this one. We have Disrupt versus the Sonics, so don't go anywhere. We're giving away stuff. We got awesome matches. We got Blue and Stokes joining us, so we'll see you in a couple minutes. Don't go anywhere.